Chapter 379. The Black Disk Universe ship became a beam of light, swiftly piercing through Earth's atmosphere and entering space. Within the universe ship's control room, Luo Feng stood expressionlessly before the control screen. Behind him stood his slave Di Fan. The alloy armor they were wearing, under the light of the control room, it reflected a special glow. "How long will they take to arrive?" Luo Feng said to the control screen. The little devil's head appeared on the screen. "With that D3 grade universe ship's current speed, it'll take about 8 hours 49 minutes to reach Earth." 8 hours 49 minutes? Luo Feng smiled. "Then we'll welcome them." Yes. The entire universe ship immediately began to accelerate, even though the universe ship's acceleration was shocking. Due to the ship's internal gravity control system, it allowed the ship's gravity to maintain a unit of Earth's gravity. The universe ship headed outside the solar system, and the Nulan Shan family's previous head Dawon and Nulan Shan's most outstanding disciple Bai Kaluo, the D3 grade universe ship they were on was heading towards Earth. The distance between the two was swiftly shrinking. The D3 grade streamlined axe-shaped universe ship's control room. "Senior, you've informed teacher?" Bai Kaluo, who was completely covered in a black robe, said coldly. "Yes, the head ancestor knows we've arrived in the solar system. He's extremely happy." Dawon's handsome face revealed a smile. The head ancestor even said he'll remain online in the virtual universe network, waiting for our good news. Bai Kaluo nodded. Beep, beep, beep. A piercing sound resounded within the control room, immediately causing Dawon's expression to change. "Warning, warning, the navigation system has discovered a universe ship. It's heading towards us. It's heading towards us." A loud, sharp voice resounded within the control room. "What?" Dawon's expression changed greatly. "Universe ship?" Bai Kaluo was shocked too. The universe was too vast, with the size of a universe ship. If it was too far in space, it would be like a speck of dust. Bai Kaluo and Dawon couldn't even use their naked eyes to discover that 100 m diameter ship from 10 million kilometers away. Within the disc-shaped universe ship's control room, Luo Feng looked calmly at the control screen before him. "Activate the rail cannon," Luo Feng said. "Understood." On the screen, Demon Babata started up. Immediately at the front of the entire universe ship, there was a layer of energy barrier, and under the barrier, the alloy hull automatically caved in, revealing a silver-gray, 6 m thick malevolent cannon barrel. The cannon barrel slowly extended forward, directly extending out of the energy barrier. The mouth of the cannon barrel changed slightly. There was a faint light in the depths of the barrel, and the surrounding space seemed to be distorted. Energy activated, counting down: 60, 59, 58, 57, 10, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. Activation complete. A voice came from the control panel and echoed in the control room. "Babata, seize the opportunity and destroy it," Luo Feng ordered. "Haha, leave it to me." The little devil on the screen was very proud. Railgun. This was one of the gifts Luo Feng had prepared for the Nulan Shan family, as he had long since scanned it. It was a D3 grade universe ship. So in these 2 years, Luo Feng spent a huge amount of wealth, 260 billion universe dollars, to buy a D5 grade rail cannon. D5 grade rail cannon. As long as it was a C grade technological weapon, it would be considered a restricted grade. It was very hard to buy it through normal channels. Also, the price of these technological weapons would be extremely ridiculous. Even though the upcoming auction would lower the price of these technological weapons, Luo Feng couldn't wait any longer. Hence, he spent 260 billion universe credits to buy a D5 grade railgun through a super company with a very powerful background, the House of Rarities. A galaxy like the Milky Way, to be able to reach 260 billion universe dollars was already not bad. One could see just how much money Luo Feng had spent. And this was after Luo Feng had spent a huge amount of money in the Wonders shop, Only then did the Wonders Shop agree to help Luo Feng get this D5 grade rail cannon. If it wasn't for the huge amount of money from before, the Wonders Shop wouldn't even help Luo Feng get this restricted grade weapon. This huge amount of money, it was for Luo Feng's training of deities of the world. He bought all those incredibly precious materials. To buy those materials, the amount of money he spent was much more than buying the D5 grade rail cannon. Many golden horned beasts, even till their deaths, only managed to train up to the first level of deities of the world. One could see just how high the price of training deities of the world was. The golden horned beast was normally a sector lord pinnacle, and had 3 bodies. Hence Luo Feng was able to buy those materials through the human world. The golden horned beast naturally knew how to create a human body, and then buy the metals from the human world. With its sector lord pinnacle strength, its wealth was shocking, yet it usually only managed to train up to the first level. Training deities of the world allowed the golden horned beast's body to shrink, the density of its bones, muscles etc. rapidly increased, causing its strength to soar. Usually, the younger the beast, the easier it was to train. Just like how a human child's flexibility was easy to train, the stronger the body, the harder it was to shrink. Hence, the universe-level golden horn beast, when it came to training, the requirements were actually lower. However, even so, to completely train up to the first level required large amounts of precious materials. Luo Feng was still lacking too tight. These materials were really expensive and incomparably rare. Luo Feng had spent a huge amount of money on these materials in the Wonders Shop. He had spent too much, hence the Wonders Shop naturally valued such a huge customer. Hence they were willing to help get that D5 grade rail cannon. Rail cannon! Fire! Babata's excited roar resounded within the control room. In space, that D3 grade universe ship had already discovered the black disk universe ship closing in. It's a C9 grade universe ship. Dowan creased his eyebrows. Can we shake them off? Master, we're flying towards Earth, it's coming from Earth. No matter how we change direction, they can still easily close in on us, we can't shake them off. On the screen of the control room, the AI's voice resounded, and if we want to change our speed, we'll need a lot of time. A universe ship may be able to reach light speed, but that's only after a long period of constant acceleration before it finally reaches light speed, the ultimate speed in the universe. And to accelerate sideways or decelerate etc., it's impossible to accelerate too quickly in an instant. This made it very easy for the enemy to close in. If we don't go to Earth, we can shake them off. The AI said. Don't bother with that ship. Baikaluo said coldly. A C9 grade universe ship can't affect us. That ship should be under Luo Feng. Dowan creased his eyebrows. Right now, I'm afraid they already know we've arrived. The head ancestor ordered us to secretly obtain the automaton ship. Since we've already been discovered, there's no need to hide. Baikaluo said coldly, continue heading towards Earth. Baikaluo and Dowan had just finished arguing for a few seconds. Rumble. An almost undetectable rail cannon shockwave left a space ripple in space, and with light speed it struck the D3 grade universe ship. Caught off guard, under this light speed rail cannon, this D3 grade universe ship's navigation system could only transmit signals at light speed. The moment the D3 grade universe ship received the signal, the rail cannon's blast landed on the universe ship. Chi. This streamlined spaceship with the shape of a giant axe head instantly had a large hole torn out from the side, passing through the entire abdomen of the spaceship and coming out from the other side. This caused the universe ship that was still maintaining its high speed to immediately break apart. Large amounts of alloy wreckage shot out in all directions, causing the solar system space to be filled with space trash. Within the control room of the ship wreckage, 2 silhouettes swiftly flew out. Floating in space, it was Dowan and Baikaluo. How is that possible? Dowan's eyes stared wide. We've already been hit, what's impossible? The black-robed Baikaluo roared. A light-speed long-range weapon that exceeds the D3 grade. This is definitely a restricted grade. In terms of price, it's comparable to a level 5 spirit weapon, genetic energy weapon. Even Sector Lord warriors normally wouldn't be willing to waste their money to buy a D-grade rail cannon. Dowen shook his head, his face filled with disbelief. On Earth, how could there be a D-grade rail cannon that even Sector Lords wouldn't be willing to buy? D-grade rail cannons, to Sector Lords, even though they could afford them, they rarely bought them. This was because a casual attack from a Sector Lord could exceed a D-grade rail cannon. And without the strength of a Sector Lord, to be able to afford a D-grade rail cannon was extremely rare. That's impossible. Dowen's face was filled with panic. Don't worry about this. Without a universe ship, it would take us half a year to fly to Earth. Baikaluo communicated coldly. Rumble, in the distance, a beam of light swiftly approached. Dowen, the enemy is here. Baikaluo communicated. HM? Dowen looked up. What he saw was a black disc-shaped universe ship swiftly approaching. However, the strange thing was, this universe ship was constantly decelerating, finally stopping a few hundred km away from them. Simultaneously, the cabin door of the ship automatically opened and a silhouette swiftly flew out, swiftly heading towards them. A few hundred km, the opponent arrived in the blink of an eye. This was a bald man dressed in black armor, thick lips, looking very simple. So fast. Dowen was shocked. Rumble, a curved silver blade pierced through the air, its speed so fast that the universe level 6 Dowen couldn't dodge in time, his eyes staring wide with fear. Pu Chi. A headshot. The second-generation head of the Nulan Shan family, Dowen Nulan Shan, had fallen. The silver blade's speed didn't seem to decrease at all, heading straight for the black-robed Baikaluo. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. His brother's votes were simply too awesome. Tomato was so touched he was about to cry. How many votes do we have? Throw them all to Tomato, it's the last day. Chapter 380. Without a sound, Baikaluo's black robe swiftly flowed into his body, revealing Baikaluo's intrepid and ferocious body. He was dressed in a green alloy robe. It was made of scales, layer upon layer of scales. His face was covered in green scales. There wasn't a single strand of hair on his head, just green scalp. There was a curved horn on his forehead that looked like a curved saber. From head to toe, his entire body was green. On his back were 2 cross sabers. Chong! The lightning-fast horizontal movement created a dreamy phantom. At the same time, the saber in his hand instantly struck the silver saber light, directly reducing the speed of the silver saber light. Within the universe ship's control room, through the external simulation, Luo Feng could clearly see the two's exchange. When Baikaluo revealed his true appearance, Luo Feng was shocked. Blade Clan. On the ship's control screen, the demon Babata was shocked. Blade Clan. Luo Feng was shocked. Right, it's the Blade Clan. This person should be Nulan Shan's strongest disciple, Baikaluo. On the screen, the little demon jumped and said, "In the virtual universe network, there's very detailed information on the Blade Clan. The Blade Clan is a race that worships the strong. At the very beginning, the Blade Clan planet was an aboriginal planet. However, it was on such a primitive planet, when the civilizations of the universe discovered them, they realized that on this primitive planet, there was actually a domain lord, 12 universe levels. The members of the Blade Clan, as long as they reached adulthood, they would reach the Star Traveler level. This was a very strong planet. It was because they didn't develop technology, they didn't have universe ships, hence the Blade Clan had always stayed on their home planet. And following the assimilation into the universe, the Blade Clan swiftly rose. Before the Blade Clan assimilated into the universe, they had a tradition of adventuring and training. Every matured member would explore the planet. And after stepping into the universe, every matured member would enter the universe to explore, to undergo life and death training. The Blade Clan, they didn't seek power or enjoyment, they all pursued the path of the strong. Whether it was to become a disciple of an absolute warrior, or join a power to learn techniques. This caused many absolute warriors to emerge from the Blade Clan. In the history of the Blade Clan, there were undying beings, sector lords, they all existed. Therefore, the Blade Clan is considered a very famous clan among the human races in the universe. Babata explained in detail. Luo Feng was shocked. It's a planetary state at adulthood. It's not a very strong bloodline in the human race. However, the reason why the Blade Clan had such a huge reputation was because of the Blade Clan. It's their personalities, Babata said. Because of their perseverance, their determination to become stronger. This kind of belief is ingrained in their bones, that's why so many experts were born. While Luo Feng was shocked at the Blade Clan in space, the Universe Level 9 D-Fan was madly battling with Baikaluo. D-Fan stood in space, controlling the spirit weapon. As for Baikaluo, he was surrounded by waves of cyan gale, causing his figure to become incomparably blurry. His two blades were already extremely fast, fusing into the gale domain, forming an unending blade wave. Clang clang clang. That arc light clashed with the snow-white blade lights, causing D-Fan to reveal a look of shock. This Blade Clan man before him was obviously only a Universe Level 8, however he actually relied on his two blades to block his spirit weapon attack. 100 blades. Baikaluo roared. Rumble. Large amounts of snow-white blade lights overlapped, forming a huge wave of blade lights, immediately engulfing D-Fan. With a pring, the wave of blade lights collapsed. D-Fan's expression was pale. HM? Baikaluo revealed a look of shock. He actually blocked his ultimate attack. This punk. D-Fan squinted, roaring, soul blade slash. The formless spirit energy immediately became a blade that the naked eye couldn't see, swiftly piercing into Baikaluo's consciousness. Chi. Baikaluo's eyes slightly dimmed, after which they lit up, staring hard at D-Fan. He actually blocked it. D-Fan was extremely shocked. Within the universe ship, Luo Feng couldn't help but exclaim out loud. He actually blocked it. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. This Baikaluo was a true genius. A Universe Level 8 was able to rely on his two blades to take on a Universe Level 9 spirit weapon. This was already very impressive. However, towards this, Luo Feng could only exclaim in admiration. He wasn't too shocked. Because D-Fan wasn't proficient in spirit weapons, he was mainly proficient in soul attack. He even trained in the soul blade slash. Even though it was just the tip of the iceberg, its power was already shocking. A Universe Level 9 Spirit Reader, unleashing the Soul Blade Slash, was actually blocked by a Universe Level 8. Shocking willpower. On the screen, the little demon shouted excitedly. His willpower is too shocking. This Baikaluo is a Universe Level 8 fighter, and also a Universe Level 8 Spirit Reader. However, D-Fan's Soul Blade Slash, its power is extremely huge. Same level opponents would find it hard to block it, however he can actually block it. Willpower. He has an incredibly shocking willpower. The little demon said. Luo Feng quickly used the slave imprint to keep him. This is definitely a slave even more outstanding than D-Fan. Keep him? Luo Feng was stunned. Every slave had to be incomparably careful. I dare say, he's definitely at the battle-axe fighter level, even compared to his teacher, under the same level and level. His teacher Nulan Shan might not be his match. The demon Babata roared, his domain is high, his blade work is strong, these don't mean much. However, his willpower is shocking, it means his determination is extremely strong. He definitely has the potential to become an absolute warrior, as long as you nurture him well. Luo Feng, this is a rare opportunity. Battle-axe fighter level, stepping into the domain lord level, has a 50% chance. What's more, with his shocking willpower, along with our Yun Mo planet secret techniques, Stepping into the domain lord level is even more certain. Babata shouted, also, you're lacking a fighter slave. Luo Feng nodded. Di Fan specialized in soul attacks. He was indeed lacking a fighter slave under him. In space. Your spirit attacks are very strong. Bai Kaluo's gaze was cold, gritting his teeth and shouting, however, the final victor will be me. Rumble. Following a wild gale, Bai Kaluo's body floated in an arc, his body surrounded by a green gale, after which his two blades madly slashed at Di Fan. The genetic energy, strength, and willpower within the blades had already reached an incomparably high level of compatibility. Blade. Reincarnation. Bai Kaluo's eyes were filled with madness. The two blades became two snow-white blades, madly slashing at Di Fan. The snow-white blades continued to accumulate, very quickly forming a huge wheel of light. The huge wheel of light rumbled, pressing down on Di Fan time and time again. Chi, the spirit weapon was knocked away. Di Fan spat out a mouthful of blood, his eyes filled with pity, unleashing the strongest move his master Luo Feng had prepared for him. Pring, a dark blue stream of light instantly smashed the huge light wheel, directly causing the light wheel formed by a large number of blade flashes to collapse. This also caused the dark blue stream of light to rebound slightly. This seemed to be a broken blade fragment, hybrid copper essence fragment. This sharp fragment drew an arc in the air as it flew towards Bai Kaluo. Spare his life. A voice resounded in Di Fan's mind. The soul imprint within the soul allowed Luo Feng and Di Fan to form a connection between their souls, able to communicate through their consciousness, just like how the quantum computer could communicate with humans, just like how the cloud contact vine could communicate with Luo Feng's consciousness. Chi. The dark blue light drew an arc, immediately slicing through Bai Kaluo's arms, cutting them off, the blade falling. Space was silent, the distant ship wreckage floated down, that universe-level warrior De Wen's body was still floating in space, however Bai Kaluo was just standing there, dumbfounded. Destroy his quantum computer. Luo Feng ordered. Who? The dark blue blade light directly chopped down on Bai Kaluo's arm guard, directly shattering the AI, while Bai Kaluo stared at Di Fan in the distance and transmitted his voice. You, why didn't you kill me? My master ordered me to. Di Fan looked at him. Master? Bai Kaluo creased his eyebrows. The distant disk universe ship's cabin door opened, a human silhouette swiftly flew over. It was Luo Feng dressed in the cloud contact armor. Luo Feng. Bai Kaluo squinted. Bai Kaluo, you've lost. Luo Feng looked at Bai Kaluo before him. Even though Bai Kaluo's broken wrist was covered in blood and flesh, slowly growing back, he himself stared hard at Luo Feng. Obviously Bai Kaluo realized, he had lost this time, lost very badly. I didn't expect you to have a Universe Level 9 servant, even my teacher didn't expect it. You even have a D-grade long-distance light-speed weapon, it's no wonder I lost. Bai Kaluo laughed coldly. Luo Feng, if you want to kill me then kill me. With your servant here, I have no power to resist at all. In space, even if I wanted to escape, I wouldn't be able to. In the vast space, without a ship, how could he escape? I have high hopes for you. Luo Feng looked at Bai Kaluo. I'll give you two choices now. One is to submit to me, the other is to die. Submit or die, choose. Luo Feng looked at him. Submit? Haha. Bai Kaluo laughed loudly. Luo Feng, are you joking? Just a little star-level punk like you actually wants me to submit to you. If it was that baldy, if he wanted me to submit, I'd still consider it, because he's too strong. His last move easily defeated me. But you, a little star-level punk, wanting me to submit. Bai Kaluo shook his head. Think carefully before you answer. Luo Feng's voice became even colder. The moment you reject, that means death. If you die, everything will be for naught. Your pursuits, your dream of becoming a strong warrior, everything will be gone. I'll ask you one last time. Luo Feng's voice was ice-cold. Death or submit? Luo Feng stared at Bai Kaluo. P.S. The second chapter has ended, there's still the third chapter today. Chapter 381. The space was vast and boundless, the three silhouettes stood there. Luo Feng, you really want to kill him? Babata's voice resounded. He definitely has the potential to become an absolute warrior. I admire his backbone, but I'm not so shameless as to go coax him. He came to kill me. I should have killed him anyway. Luo Feng's expression was cold. I admire him, so I gave him the chance to submit. However, if he doesn't, I'll just kill him. Potential to become an absolute warrior? Don't even mention potential, even an absolute warrior, like a sector lord, like an undying. There are many of them in the vast universe. Luo Feng looked at Bai Kaluo, waiting for his reply. Bai Kaluo stood in space, his eyebrows furrowed. The moment you reject, that's death. If you die, everything will be for naught. Your pursuits, your dream of becoming a warrior, everything will be gone. Luo Feng's words resounded in Bai Kaluo's mind, causing him to unconsciously recall all these years of struggle. That beautiful planet, his home. That vast flowing river, it had appeared countless times in his dreams. Grandfather, I'm leaving. The day I return will be the day I enter the temple. I will make our Metal Rock Mountain clan proud of me. That dusky evening, the young Bai Kaluo bid farewell to his grandfather, stepping on a long journey. Leaving his home, entering the universe. Wandering from galaxy to galaxy, his strength constantly rose. And after seeing Nulan Shan's battle footage in the Battleaxe Coliseum, he became a disciple of Nulan Shan. Nulan Shan was an absolute battle type. From the start, his disciples had to fight to the death. Bai Kaluo was extremely hard-working, very quickly becoming the most outstanding disciple. Breaking through to the universe level, possessing a domain, creating his own blade techniques, improving along the way, even his teacher Nulan Shan was unable to guide him. His battle experience, techniques, etc. were already no less than his teacher. Becoming in existence in the Nulan Shan family, second only to Nulan Shan. However, he never enjoyed it, always wearing a black robe, wholeheartedly researching his blade techniques, researching domain. Temple! My Blade Clan's temple. Bai Kaluo roared within. I, Bai Kaluo, must enter our Blade Clan's temple. I will make our Iron Rock Mountain range proud of me. I will become the legend of the Blade Clan's Iron Rock Mountain lineage. Blade Clan Temple. All the men of the Blade tribe dreamed of going to the place where their names would be forever engraved in the temple. That was their greatest pride. But to inscribe it in the temple was extremely difficult. As the experts of the Blade Edge clan appeared one by one, the requirements to be listed in the sacred hall grew higher and higher. During the Aboriginal Planet era, universe levels were enough to enter the sacred palace. After the Blade Edge race entered the universe, they were quickly raised to the Domain Lord level before they had the right to enter the sacred hall. Hundreds of millions of years ago, only those who were promoted to Realm Lords had the qualifications to enter the sacred temple. It would take a long time for the entire Blade tribe to have their name engraved on it. This was the most glorious moment for the Blade tribe. Those who were listed in the sacred temple would be known as the Legend of the Blade Edge clan. Enter the temple, become a legend. Bai Kaluo raised his head, looking at the dark red battle-robed youth in front of him. Have you thought about it? Luo Feng looked at Bai Kaluo, his gaze cold. Submit or die. Who? Bai Kaluo knelt down on one knee in space, lowering his head. Blade Edge clan Bai Kaluo greets the Lord. Lord? Luo Feng frowned. When your strength surpasses mine, I'll willingly call you master. Bai Kaluo said respectfully, and right now, I'm willing to be a soldier under your command, a bodyguard. Soldier, bodyguard? Luo Feng smiled with interest as he looked at Bai Kaluo. From now on, you can call me master. Bai Kaluo frowned. Ha ha! Luo Feng laughed loudly in the universe. Rumble Luo Feng vanished, simultaneously a continuous undulation, like a huge mountain range beast appeared in space. Its scales were even bigger than a normal person's dining table, the edges of the scales were as sharp as blades, the entire beast's body length reached a shocking 6 kilometers, its 4 claws were at least 2 kilometers tall, almost like the legendary pillars of the heavens. That long tail swayed slightly in the starry sky. Its huge head was like a mountain, that pair of dark golden eyes gazed down at the little Baikalluo. Gold, gold. Baikalluo stared wide-eyed. Golden-horned beast. Right, it's me. A majestic voice, under the powerful genetic energy, pierced through space, like a wave spreading out, resounding within Baikalluo's ears. Rumble. The golden-horned beast vanished. Luo Feng appeared, smiling at Baikalluo. Rumble. Luo Feng vanished, the incomparably huge golden-horned beast appeared in space. Do you understand? The golden-horned beast's voice was like thunder, its eyes shot out 2 beams of light, shining on Baikalluo. In theory, there was no way to transmit sound in space, however that incomparably powerful genetic energy was the medium. Relying on the golden-horned beast's powerful genetic energy, its voice resounded throughout the surrounding space. You are. Baikalluo was extremely shocked. So, Luo Feng is the golden-horned beast. Accurately speaking, the golden-horned beast is Luo Feng. The golden-horned beast vanished. Luo Feng stood in space looking at Baikalluo. Earlier Luo Feng had ordered Defan to destroy Baikalluo's quantum computer. It was for this appearance. The golden-horned beast's secret was extremely important, naturally he couldn't be careless. As for letting the golden-horned beast appear, it was to use the slave imprint. It's actually like that, this. Baikalluo was extremely shocked, following which he looked at Luo Feng. You will be stronger than me, I admit that, however right now that golden-horned beast should be weaker than me. Weaker than you? Luo Feng laughed. Baikalluo, even I am not master's match. You? You'll only be tortured. Beside, Defan laughed and communicated through spirit energy. What? Baikalluo shook his head. Impossible. Try me and you'll know. Luo Feng smiled. Rumble. Luo Feng vanished. The golden-horned beast once again appeared in space. The current golden-horned beast had indeed reached universe level 6. 2 years ago in December, the golden-horned beast broke through to universe level. And now it was the end of October, a full 20 months had passed. Within these 20 months, as he had a huge amount of wealth, Luo Feng naturally bought incomparably precious metals, using the best combination for the internal world to absorb and grow. However, the universe-level best combination only raised the evolution efficiency to 56 times. 56 times. 20 months, that was equivalent to 93 years of normal evolution. When the golden-horned beast was in the star level. From level 1 to level 3, it required 1.5 years. From level 4 to level 6, every breakthrough required 2 years, a total of about 6 years. From level 7 to level 9, every breakthrough required 12 years, a total of 36 years. And from level 9 to universe level, it required over 50 years. The entire star level lasted about 100 years, and the universe level lasted close to 1,000 years. From level 1 to level 3, it required about 15 years. From level 4 to level 6, every breakthrough required 20 years, a total of 60 years. From level 7 to level 8, every breakthrough required 120 years, a total of 360 years. Finally, from universe level 9 to domain lord, it required over 500 years. This was the evolution speed, and Luo Feng relied on the best combination, which was equivalent to a normal evolution of 93 years, causing the golden-horned beast to grow to universe level 6. As a heavenly talented golden-horned beast, at star level 7, it already had the ability to kill a star level 9 human fighter. In space, like a black mountain range, the golden-horned beast fiercely waved its claws. The claws on its claws were like huge blades slashing towards Baikalluo. Roar. Baikaleo roared. The green energy around him danced, and following the infusion of his origin power, the two blades became 2/10 meters long snow-white blade waves, directly resisting the golden-horned beast's stomp. Rumble! The energy waves exploded. The strong impact became a shocking shockwave that spread in all directions, causing the distant De Wen's body to be flung away. The universe ship wreckage was also sent flying. "You are not bad." The golden-horned beast's voice rumbled like a god. Rumble! The golden-horned beast's 3 horns glowed with a piercing light, following which the golden light swiftly followed the peculiar golden engravings and flowed throughout the golden-horned beast's entire body. Its scales, wings, claws, horns and tail all underwent minute changes. Even the scales seemed to have become denser, the claws even sharper. One of the 3 great talents, strengthening. The golden-horned beast's strength immediately rose. Rumble! 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 4 claws that were like pillars of the heavens, stomping down again and again, under the strengthened state. That incomparably strong force of impact was something Baikaleo couldn't defend against directly. Howl! The golden-horned beast let out an excited roar. Wung wung wung, the golden-horned beast's entire body began to ripple strangely. The strangest thing was, its entire body was swiftly shrinking. Every single scale on its body was shrinking. At the same time, the scales seemed to undergo a strange change. Its bones were also swiftly shrinking. The spine that was originally 5 to 6 kilometers long was now 2 to 3 kilometers long. The density of the bones was increasing, causing the spine to undergo a strange change. The 3 horns on its head were also shrinking, even more dense. Yes, the entire golden-horned beast, from its body length of over 6 kilometers, it immediately shrunk to just over 3 kilometers. Deities of the world's first-level beginner level. Once the first level was completed, its body length would shrink by a full 3 times, its strength would increase by 3 times. And right now, the golden-horned beast relied on Luo Feng's huge wealth to buy the precious materials to train. It could already shrink by 2 times, its strength increasing by 2 times. Strengthening by 2 times. Deities of the world, strengthening by 2 times again. Rumble! The claws stomped down, Baikaleo spat out blood and was sent flying. Shio! The tail that was as fast as lightning swept over. The speed was so fast that Baikaleo couldn't even dodge. His blades were immediately sent flying. His arms were immediately torn apart, fresh blood splattering everywhere. Luckily the golden-horned beast controlled him, not attacking his vitals, otherwise it could have easily killed Baikaleo. The golden-horned beast vanished. Luo Feng appeared in space. Di Fan. Luo Feng looked at Baikaleo floating in space, heavily injured and unable to resist. Go, send him to the nutrition cabin to recover. Yes. Di Fan's simple and honest face revealed a peculiar smile. He had been treated as a sparring opponent by his master, and had been abused many times. Right now, he finally had a comrade to be abused. Strengthening talent, deities of the world, unleashed at the same time. Di Fan and Baikaleo couldn't resist at all. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled. And I haven't even unleashed an attack infused with the gold origin laws. Eating and sleeping, sleeping and eating, the natural growth of the golden-horned beast dared to call itself invincible within the same level. Even in the vast universe, it was very hard to find someone that could match up to it. If one could, then that person would definitely be considered the entire human race of the universe, amongst the universe countries, a true absolute genius. And Luo Feng, this golden-horned beast, spent countless amounts of money to train in deities of the world, and also to comprehend the universe origin laws. If he didn't work hard, if he played with his life to win against the golden-horned beast, it was very, very difficult. Within the universe ship, Master Baikaleo, who was thrown into the nutrition cabin, shouted with complete respect. "All right, hurry and heal up," Luo Feng said casually. After he was done healing, he still had to unleash the slave imprint. The last day of the month, everyone's monthly votes, throw them all in. Chapter 382. De One and by Kaluo, why haven't they replied after so long? Virtual Universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island, within a luxurious villa's guest room, Nulan Shan, who was wearing a long robe, creased his eyebrows, his red eyes staring at the screen before him, gleaming fiercely. Contact the two of them for me again. Yes, master. The fist-sized virtual assistant on Nulan Shan's shoulder shouted out. Do, something's wrong. Something's wrong. I'll contact them, they wouldn't dare to ignore my call for so long. Nulan Shan's eyes were filled with fear. Don't tell me. Impossible, with Bai Kaluo's strength, the two of them definitely wouldn't have any problems. Nulan Shan shook his head. Definitely not. Staying in the virtual universe, waiting for De One and Bai Kaluo's news, Nulan Shan could already sense that something was wrong. However, he had too much confidence in his most exceptional disciple Bai Kaluo. Dealing with Earth was a simple matter, there definitely wouldn't be any problems. Time passed minute by minute. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, Nulan Shan's expression was getting uglier and uglier. If one were to say that he had some hope at the start, however, after 2 hours, the two disciples still hadn't responded at all. This completely explained the problem. Nulan Shan's throat emitted an enraged roar, fiercely waving his hand, sending the wine cups and other utensils on the table in front of him flying. Those wine cups and utensils flew in all directions, some smashing against the walls, some smashing against the wall, some smashing against the wall, some smashing against the chairs, causing a series of explosions. Luo Feng. Nulan Shan's eyes were cold, gritting his teeth, squeezing out these two words. You're vicious. You actually managed to get a Universe Level 9, even a Domain Lord level helper. Nulan Shan's eyes were cold, his fists clenched tight, his fingernails piercing into his palms. This time he had lost so badly. One was that he had lost his most important helpers, De One and Bai Kaluo. 2 was that he was clear, the opponent was able to easily deal with Bai Kaluo. That meant he, Nulan Shan, had no hope of acquiring the treasures of Earth. To be able to deal with Bai Kaluo, the opponent is at least a Universe Level 9. And a Universe Level 9 is completely capable of taking away that automaton ship. Nulan Shan was getting more and more furious. Even if I spend close to 3 years to reach Earth, he was afraid that his efforts would be in vain. What's more, there are those things on Earth. Solar system, Martian surface. When Nulan Shan was gritting his teeth over Bai Kaluo's death, don't resist. A majestic rumbling sound reverberated throughout the desert. The golden-horned beast's enormous body was entrenched in the desert, its mountain-like head in the air lowered its head, looking down at the tiny Bai Kaluo. Yes, Bai Kaluo stood there respectfully. The golden-horned beast began to use the Yun-Mo planet's soul imprint technique. Slowly, a drop of water droplet-like crystal flew out of the golden-horned beast's left eye and began to descend rapidly. This crystal-clear water droplet, if one looked closely, one could see that within the water droplet there were complex imprints, floating and disappearing within the water droplet. Pooh! The water droplet touched the space between Bai Kaluo's eyebrows. Instantly, it entered the depths of Bai Kaluo's consciousness. Within his consciousness, this was a vast miniature galaxy. It was the manifestation of Bai Kaluo's soul. This miniature galaxy itself was constantly revolving and moving. The galaxy's 8 spiral arms were revolving along with it. A water droplet suddenly appeared and landed within the galaxy. Immediately, a crystal-clear light swiftly spread and began to permeate. Everything happened naturally. After about half an hour, Bai Kaluo, who was standing in the desert, opened his eyes. He looked at the huge golden-horned beast before him with a sense of respect from within his soul. Master. Bai Kaluo bowed. The golden-horned beast's dark, golden eyes had a sense of dimming too. Using the slave imprint was like cutting a small piece of his soul. The damage was huge. Rumble. The golden-horned beast vanished and Luo Feng appeared. The slave imprint is indeed mystical. Luo Feng looked at the Blade Clan warrior by Kaluo before him. He could clearly feel the respect and worship the other party had for him, almost as though he was facing his own king. Teacher was able to create this slave imprint. That's impressive. Di Fan, by Kaluo, let's go, return to Earth. Luo Feng said. Yes, master. Di Fan and Bai Kaluo said respectfully at the same time. The black disc-shaped universe ship was currently flying from Mars to Earth. Within the universe ship's control room, Luo Feng was conversing with his two slaves. Master, I've brought all the quantum computers from the ship wreckage. Bai Kaluo said respectfully. We definitely won't reveal the scene of the golden-horned beast's transformation. Luo Feng nodded. It's better to be safe than sorry. The secret of the golden-horned beast definitely couldn't be revealed. By Kaluo, what trump card does that Nulan Shan have? What information does he know about Earth? Luo Feng asked. Trump card? By Kaluo shook his head. This Nulan Shan doesn't have any trump cards at all. His entire family's foundations are shallow. If it wasn't for Nulan Shan himself holding the fort, the Nulan Shan family wouldn't even have such power. This time he sent me and Dewen, 1, to steal the automaton ship, 2, to kill you, master. This bastard. He actually wants to kill master. He deserves to die. Bai Kaluo's words were filled with killing intent towards Nulan Shan. Soul slaves worshipped their masters from the depths of their souls. Their masters were the most important to them. Hence Nulan Shan wanted to kill Luo Feng. The current Bai Kaluo was filled with rage and hatred. Ha ha! That Nulan Shan is just a clown. Luo Feng laughed. Right, you mentioned the automaton ship earlier? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. These 2 years, he had been completely immersed in the comprehension of the universe origin laws. Actually, this sort of comprehension wasn't hard at all. Instead, it was like being in his mother's embrace when he was young. His soul felt comfortable. 2 years of hard work, Luo Feng had almost forgotten about Earth's Bermuda region. There was still that automaton ship. Yes, that Nulan Shan has always been thinking about that automaton ship. That ship is definitely worth more than his entire family's assets. Bai Kaluo said respectfully. Ha ha! Luo Feng laughed. Babata! Luo Feng shouted. The ship won't return home for now. After returning to Earth, we'll head to the Bermuda region. We should get that automaton ship too. Understood. The little demon shouted excitedly. The universe ship rushed into Earth's atmosphere, flying straight towards the Bermuda Ocean region, after which it vanished. Luo Feng and the other two became 3 beams of light, flying deep into the ocean. In the depths of the cold ocean, there was a huge white silhouette. Luo Feng flew closer. An incomparably huge silver-white pyramid floated in the ocean. The entire pyramid's height was a shocking 1200 m, much taller than any skyscraper on Earth. The entire silver-white pyramid floated there, causing the surrounding magnetic fields to distort. Luo Feng could clearly feel it. Automaton universe ship. Di Fan's eyes gleamed. This is the first time I've seen an automaton universe ship in real life. Bai Kaluo exclaimed. The automaton race's technology is simply too advanced. From the outside, it's impossible to determine just what grade this ship is. The technology of the humans in the universe, compared to the automaton race, was indeed very far off. Humanity's constructed universe ships could clearly determine what grade it was. Even scanning it could determine what alloy it was made of. However, the automaton race's alloy, humans had no way to accurately determine its grade from the outside. However, according to what Nulan Shan told me, this automaton ship is at least AD grade. Bai Kaluo pointed below the huge pyramid, at the open triangular pathway. That pathway's defense is at least AC grade. This sort of universe ship is at least AD grade, hence its price is extremely expensive. Even many domain lords can't afford it. Di Fan looked shocked at Bai Kaluo. That expensive? Why don't you look at its size? And this is only a D grade. If it were an E grade, that would be too shocking. It would definitely be even more shocking than the world within a world treasure that shook the entire Black Dragon Mountain star field. Baikaluo shook his head, however. The chances of it being an E grade is too low. It's an E grade, Luo Feng said. Master. Defan and Baikaluo looked shocked at Luo Feng. Defan couldn't help but say, Master, this automaton ship is impossible to determine its grade from the outside. It's an E grade. I'm very sure. Luo Feng looked at the huge pyramid before him, after which he looked at Defan and Baikaluo. The two of you, what grade are your armors? Master, I'm wearing a level 3 genetic energy armor on the inside, and a D3 alloy armor on the outside. Defan said respectfully. I'm wearing a level 3 genetic energy armor on the inside, and a D5 alloy armor on the outside. Baikaluo said respectfully. Luo Feng nodded. Genetic energy armor was similar to the Black God sets from back then. It could cover the entire body as one wished. However, the armor's defense was related to the level of the genetic energy. The stronger the genetic energy, the stronger the armor's defense. This genetic energy armor's price was extremely high, comparable to spirit weapons. Alloy armor, on the outside it was made of alloy, the technical content was very low, just like wearing a huge armor the price was cheap, the downside was the alloy armor had many holes, it couldn't protect the entire body 100% of the time. Baikaluo, then you enter the automaton ship. Luo Feng ordered. This is an AI chip. After entering the control room, insert it and you'll be fine. Yes, Master. Baikaluo respectfully received the chip from Luo Feng, after which he turned and flew towards the pathway. Chi-Chi, the automaton ship's pathway, immediately shot out a 3-colored light, however Baikaluo's speed didn't decrease at all, rushing straight in. Automaton ship. Luo Feng looked at the pyramid ship before him, exclaiming within, the owner of this ship is that automaton undying. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Chapter 383. Automaton undying. Luo Feng felt a wave of pressure. Undying, these two words represented absolute power. An undying being was enough to topple the entire Black Dragon Mountain star field. Undying beings, one punch could destroy a planet. Their bodies could reach light speed and travel through the universe. Traveling between the actual universe and the dark universe was as easy as eating to them. Babata, if we want to get the undying ship now, will we meet with any difficulties? Luo Feng asked within. An undying being shouldn't easily let anyone steal his ship, right? Of course, just like the UNMO planet ship, if I forcefully close the doors, even a sector lord wouldn't be able to enter. Babata said, as for this automaton ship, it'll depend on your luck and character. Because the automaton undying is different from the other races. Different? Luo Feng was stunned. Right. Luo Feng, let me ask you, what's normally used to control a ship? Babata asked. An AI. Luo Feng smiled. Right, an AI. Your teacher used me to control the UNMO planet ship. However, the automaton race, every single one of them is a living AI. It's much more advanced than any other AI. As for the greatest automaton undying of the automaton race, that's an AI life form that's even stronger than me. Babata said, say, do you think he would need an AI to ride a ship? You mean? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. The automaton undying, riding a ship, only needs to use a billionth of its operating abilities to easily and perfectly control a universe ship. Babata said, hence, the automaton undying doesn't even need a specially made AI to control the ship, they can easily control it themselves. But he's dead. Hence, there's no one left to control this automaton ship. Right now it'll depend on your luck. If this automaton ship, from the cabin door to the control room, there's a closed checkpoint, like the control room's door is closed, and it's very hard to open, then it'll be troublesome. If there's no obstructions along the way, then you'll be lucky. Babata said. Luo Feng couldn't help but hold his breath. Luo Feng and Di Fan, the master and servant, stood in the ocean, looking at the huge pyramid ship before them, waiting. It lasted for about 5 minutes. Master, we've succeeded. A thought transmitted. Great. Luo Feng's eyes flashed. My artificial intelligence has begun to infiltrate the control program of the spaceship. Yes, it's a success. Cut off the power supply to the hatch. Success. Babata cheered. Luo Feng, let's go, we can enter the ship's interior. Don't worry about the tunnel being attacked, I've already cut off the power supply. Di Fan, let's go. Luo Feng ordered, leading the way towards the pyramid ship entrance. The entrance was located at the bottom of the pyramid. The passageway was tens of meters wide. The surface of his body was covered in alloy armor, while the surface of his skin was covered by the cloud contact battle armor, which protected his entire body tightly. Luo Feng's thoughts moved and a vine extended into the tunnel. It's indeed safe. Luo Feng immediately flew into the pathway, Di Fan following beside him. What a strange layout! Luo Feng entered the ship and was shocked to discover that the entire pyramid ship's layout was different from the normal human universe ship. Inside the pyramid, there was a main passageway. The entire passageway was circular and continuously spiraled upwards. It was like a mountain road. The circular passageway was 30 meters wide. It circled around the center of the pyramid and continued upwards. The pyramid ship, about 800 meters from the bottom, was the center of the control room. The control room was circular in shape, the floor was crystal clear and beautiful. The entire control room actually didn't have a control panel, only a huge crystal ball floated in the center. Master. Baikaluo looked at Luo Feng. Not bad. Luo Feng smiled. Babata, check this ship. Luo Feng shouted. Yes. Energy barrier, perfect. Damn, the energy barrier level is actually this high. Even if we don't count the entire ship's defense, just the energy barrier alone is able to block an E9 grade attack. Which means, if one hasn't reached the undying level, they won't be able to break through this energy barrier. Babata's voice resounded within the control room. Luo Feng, Di Fan and Baikaluo were all shocked. Just the energy barrier alone was this sick, this, whose universe ship is this? Who was the original owner of this ship? Baikaluo couldn't help but ask, too sick. Even the E9 grade universe ships sold in the universe aren't this ridiculous. Its owner is an undying, Luo Feng said. Automaton undying. Baikaluo and Di Fan's eyes almost popped out. Undying? An automaton undying? Any undying was incomparably noble, and the automaton race represented the incomparably advanced technology. The ship an automaton undying rode in, how sick would that be? Attack weapons, perfect. Damn, that's sick. The technological weapons on this automaton ship are even more sick than your teacher's ship. Indeed, an automaton ship famed for its technology. The ship an automaton undying rode in, it's simply too extravagant, too crazy. It actually has 3 star annihilators and 9 E3 grade laser cannons. Luo Feng was stunned. Star annihilators? The legendary technological weapons, star annihilators, as the name suggests, one shot could destroy an entire planet. In terms of power, it was comparable to an undying. Of course, the star annihilators had their flaws too. 1. It had a huge area of effect, it couldn't be concentrated like an undying. 2. It consumed a shocking amount of energy. However, even with its flaws, it couldn't stop the universe's human race from yearning for this legendary weapon. Energy system, perfect. Luo Feng, you've hit the jackpot. This automaton ship's energy system is too sick. No wonder the entire ship's design, the corridors are circular. So the entire automaton ship's central core is basically all the energy system. A 1200m tall ship, more than 2/3 of it is all the energy system cabins. Sick, this ship's instantaneous acceleration, dodging, the various maneuverability, it definitely doesn't lose to your teacher's UNMO planet ship. I'm dizzy. According to the information on this automaton ship, the ship's body is made of an E-grade alloy. It has the ability to repair itself, along with the energy shield. It definitely belongs to the pinnacle of E-grade ship. Along with its shocking maneuverability, it makes it even more expensive. And this doesn't even include the Star Annihilator cannon's price. Luo Feng, you've really struck it rich this time. Just this automaton ship alone is more expensive than the entire treasure trove in the world within a world added up, Babata said. Expensive? Within the round control room, Luo Feng wasn't as excited as before, his face filled with suspicion. Even though it's expensive, no matter how expensive it is, it's still just an E-grade ship. And the UNMO planet ship is F9 grade. Normal domain lords use D-grade ships. Sector lords use E-grade ship. This undying being should use F-grade ship. This ship is after all only at the pinnacle of E-grade. It shouldn't be that ridiculous, right? Wrong, you're ridiculously wrong, Babata shouted. Master, it's not like that. Baicaluo said too. Luo Feng was suspicious. Beside him D-Fan was suspicious too. Luo Feng, when you leave, don't ever say you're a disciple of the UNMO planet. It's simply throwing your teacher's face. You actually said such foolish things. That D-Fan, he was a slave in the past. It's fine if he's stupid. I usually let you read more books and learn more about the universe, but you complained that the information was too much. Babata began to criticize. Where did I go wrong? Luo Feng interrupted Babata. Firstly, the reason why humanity's universe ships aren't too expensive. It's because of the alloy. Pure metal ships are considered luxuries. Alloy ships are the way to go. You know this, right? Babata said. I understand, the alloy is cheap, the price-to-performance ratio is high. Luo Feng nodded. Similarly, reaching the C5 grade, the alloy was 100 times cheaper than pure metal. However, in the entire universe, the strongest alloy is only the E9 grade. Whether it's the human race or the even more advanced automaton race, the most advanced alloy they can create is the E9 grade. Hence, to create an F-grade universe ship, the materials used can only be pure natural metals, like the hybrid copper essence your teacher used. Because there's simply no F-grade alloy. F-grade pure metals are extremely rare. Just like the hybrid copper essence, sometimes in a hybrid copper mine, when excavated, the hybrid copper essence may only be the size of one's palm, or 1 or 2 tons. An entire mine can only be the size of one's palm. To gather a universe ship with a diameter of 800 meters, this was an inconceivable thing. Even if you sell the entire Black Dragon Mountain star field, it wouldn't even be enough. Hence even undying beings, the majority of undying beings, can't afford it. Undying beings, most of them use E-grade pinnacle ships. Babata said, undying beings use E-grade pinnacle ships. The difference between them and sector lords is, the size is bigger, it's easier to build a large enough engine room, making it more mobile, 100 m long and 1000 m long. The difference in size is 1,000 times, the price is also 1,000 times different. This is the E-grade ships used by undying beings. The difference between them and sector lords. Your teacher was an absolute warrior amongst the undying beings, hence he could afford to play around with the UNMO planet ship. Even so, he still spent a large amount of resources, countless treasures to get that ship, Babata said. And this automaton undying used a ship that's even more advanced than many human undying beings' ships. Mainly in terms of mobility, it's even more exaggerated. I'll give you an estimate. An E-grade ship used by a normal sector lord is about 1 trillion universe dollars, equivalent to 1 mixed element unit. And undying beings use E-grade pinnacle ships, normally reach up to a few hundred trillion universe dollars, equivalent to a few hundred mixed element units. Such an E-grade pinnacle, 1,200 tall automaton ship, yet it reaches 1 to 2,000 mixed element units. And the treasures you obtained in the world within a world, added up to only 11 mixed element unit. Hence, the entire treasure trove in the world within a world can't even compare to this automaton undying ship. Asterisk, there's still the third chapter today. There's only 1 hour left of this month. Everyone throw in your votes. Chapter 384. An accurate comparison of numbers was the clearest indication of the automaton race ship's value. Babata had previously estimated that all the treasures in the world within a world added up to roughly 200 mixed element. It was equivalent to a poor undying, and this automaton race flying ship was worth 1 to 2,000 mixed elements. Heavens! Baikaluo's eyes were wide open. His dream was to stay in the Blade Race's sacred hall. As long as he became a world overlord, he would be able to stay in the sacred hall. Even a world overlord wouldn't be able to afford such a flying ship. Just how many universe-level slaves would that be? Difan's mouth was wide open. Loss of self-control. The 2 universe-level warriors lost their composure. Such an expensive automaton ship was enough to move the hearts of undying beings, enough to make sector lords go crazy. Much less domain lords and universe levels. Just the planetary annihilation cannon alone was enough to make a medium civilization in the universe envious. This was definitely a strategic weapon used to intimidate others. Luo Feng, don't expose this automaton ship, Babata said. Just like the Unimo planet ship in your hands, this automaton ship is also one of the treasures that cannot be exposed. Of course, it's impossible to determine the true value of this mechanical race spaceship from its appearance. Most people would think that this is a D-grade mechanical race spaceship. However, you're a star state. Using a D-class automaton ship would make people jealous. Therefore, this spaceship's greatest use to you is 1. Protect your life. At the moment of life and death, hide in this flying ship. Even peak-stage world overlords wouldn't be able to break this flying ship. You can use it to escape. 2. Kill the enemy. You can use 3 Star Destroyer cannons and 9 E3 grade laser cannons to kill the enemy. Especially with the agility of the automaton race's spaceship. It can quickly approach the enemy and then close the distance. With the combined attack of the 9 laser cannons, even an area lord will definitely die. 3. Sell it for money. You can sell the entire spaceship. The first and second options both have their flaws. The moment you use it, people will know that you have an E-grade automaton ship. This will easily attract sector lords and even undying beings. That's why it's fine if you don't use it, but once you do, you must kill all of them. Leave none alive. If you want to sell it for money, you can. You can sell it through your teacher's 5-star account service. But once you sell it, it will be difficult to buy it back. Difficult. That's because the automaton race's top spaceships that contain the Star Destroyer cannons can be auctioned in mid-tier auctions. The minimum requirement for a medium-level auction was to be a 4-star client. Luo Feng, even if you sell this ship, you won't be a 4-star customer. The minimum requirement to become a 4-star client is to have a deposit of 10,000 mixed element. The participants are pretty much all undying beings or some big shot. So, once you sell it, you won't be able to buy it back in a short time, Babata said. Luo Feng knew. Even though this ship was expensive, a ship that could take up 10% of an undying's wealth was already not bad. Undying beings needed to spend money on weapons, armor, treasures, secret techniques, etc. After selling the ship, Luo Feng still couldn't be considered a 4-star client. Not selling. I don't lack money right now, laughed Luo Feng. After all, this is a hot item and can be easily sold. Furthermore, keeping it by his side was also a trump card. With 9 laser cannons and the ship's mobility, even an area lord would die without a doubt. If you hide inside, even a peak world overlord wouldn't be able to break through. I'll sell it when I'm short of money. Luo Feng's eyes suddenly gleamed. Babata, can we dismantle this ship's star annihilator cannons? Since there are 3 of them, selling 2 is good too. Dream on. This automaton race's craftsmanship is too high, the entire ship is a perfect whole, even the star annihilator cannons and laser cannons are infused into the ship, dismantling it. Keep dreaming. Even though the materials aren't as good as the Yun-Mo planet ship, the craftsmanship is much higher. The Yun-Mo planet ship's main strength lies in the materials. It's the ship's incomparably sharp edges. One acceleration, slicing through planets, sector lords etc. is like cutting vegetables. As for the other technical aspects, it's a level lower. If we can't dismantle it, then we can't dismantle it, anyway we have enough money for now. Luo Feng smiled. Babata, keep this ship in your storage space, let's go home. Even though he had acquired an automaton ship, however, he couldn't simply use it, because the moment he used it, it would be easily exposed. Hence, this automaton ship was the same as the Yun-Mo planet ship. Luo Feng knew they were very expensive, yet he could only keep them in Babata's storage space. The pyramid ship, at least it's not damaged, it's in perfect condition. Even though the Yun-Mo planet ship is many times more expensive than the pyramid, it's damaged, it can't be used. Luo Feng muttered as he flew from the Bermuda Ocean towards the Asian continent. Behind him, Di Fan and Bai Kaluo exchanged glances. This master too made them speechless. The pyramid ship, even among the Undying ships, was considered not bad. The Yun-Mo planet ship was something most Undyings could only dream of but couldn't afford. F-grade ships were incomparably expensive, much less this was an F9 grade. It's good to have a powerful teacher. Di Fan glanced at Bai Kaluo, communicating. Bai Kaluo, why did you take that Nulan Shan as your teacher, a universe level 9 teacher? He has no future. Just like how powerful Master is, his teacher is an incomparably powerful warrior even amongst the Undying. And he's dead. A dead teacher just happened to give all his wealth to Master. If he were alive, Master wouldn't even be able to get much out of it. Di Fan communicated. Bai Kaluo glanced at Di Fan, communicating. Scram. Time passed day by day. Back then at the Void Region's wormhole, they had already detected that there were 3 ships heading towards Earth. The first was the Nulan Shan family's D3 grade ship, the second was a D1 grade ship, and the third was a C8 grade ship. Not long after Luo Feng and the others dealt with Nulan Shan's men and acquired the pyramid ship China year 2065, November 12th, the second D1 grade ship arrived on Earth. Earth's outer space. Dressed in a battle uniform, the bald Di Fan stood in outer space, looking at the dark purple disc-shaped universe ship ahead. Sir, how do you do? We are representatives from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's port family. From the ship, 12 star-level humans flew out, of which 10 were star-level 9, the other 2 were star-level 3 and 5 respectively. The star-level 5 was a tall and sturdy youth. Port family, one of the 16 big families of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Port family? Right now Earth is one of our 3 Axe Mountains planets. Outsiders are forbidden. Di Fan's voice, transmitted through his spirit energy into the 12's ears. 3 Axe Mountain? The tall and sturdy youth's expression changed. The 3 Axe Mountain was the head of the 4 big organizations. Even the 2 sacred lands had to be courteous to the 3 Axe Mountain. If you dare barge into Earth, don't blame me for being impolite. Di Fan roared, after which he turned and flew back to Earth. And in outer space, the 12 people beside the ship were all facing each other. Sir, what do we do? What can we do? The tall and sturdy youth gritted his teeth and roared, every single person that came out is a universe level 9, are we going to die? The ship could only leave with its tail between its legs. Using the same method 6 days later, the C8 grade ship was also scared off by Di Fan. After all, these 2 ships were merely a scouting team sent by the 2 families. How would they dare offend a universe level 9? After scaring off the two ships, Luo Feng's life became extremely peaceful. However, he was waiting for a very crucial date. December 16th. The 16th of December, year 2065 of the Huaxia calendar, was the day that the triennial Ganwu auction would be held. Virtual Universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay. Within the tea room, Luo Feng sat in a chair, holding a glass cup. Within it was amber-colored tea. Tomorrow is the Ganwu auction. The lowest requirement for the Ganwu auction is to be a 3-star client. Luo Feng gently sniffed the tea. However, my account's funds, due to the previous few purchases, have less than 10 mixed elements. It's below the 3-star client boundary. Is the invitation letter sent to me by the Ganwu auction still valid? Luo Feng, your thinking is wrong. Your account has previously reached 11 trillion universe dollars, 11 mixed elements, becoming a 3-star account. Now that you've made a few purchases, the funds have decreased. Don't tell me it's not a 3-star account anymore? Some rich and powerful people, the funds in their accounts are always flowing. Today's funds could be 200 mixed elements, their 3-star client. Tomorrow, they'll only have 1 mixed element left. The day after, they'll transfer another 300 mixed element. Don't tell me this rich and powerful person is a 3-star client and then a 2-star client? Luo Feng was stunned. Spending is normal, like your teacher, back then to deal with the Unimo planet ship. His account's funds were almost depleted. And sometimes, after selling a treasure, the funds in the account would rise again, sometimes more, sometimes less. Babata smiled. The bank won't easily lower an account's grade. Only when your account is below the limit for a long period of time will it be lowered. Babata said, the higher the account's grade, the longer the duration. Like a 5-star account, even if the money in it is depleted, within 100 million years, its grade won't drop. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. That made sense. Drinking his tea, Luo Feng was looking forward to it. The Ganwu auction that happens once every 3 years will gather countless sector lords and even undyings from the Ganwu universe country to participate. The lowest requirement is to be a 3-star client. All sorts of items that can't be bought normally, such as restricted items, will all appear in the auction. Buying the nutrition cabin, the D5 grade rail cannon, the precious treasures needed to train in deities of the world, will consume about 5 mixed elements. I'll give my brother Luo Hua 2 mixed elements to invest. Right now, I'm left with a little more than 4 trillion universe dollars. Luo Feng thought, tomorrow, I wonder what treasures I can buy. When I return, I'll ask my brother how his investments have been these 2 years. Luo Feng thought. Chapter 385. Tomato had just gotten married, so he would be very busy during the Lunar New Year. He would be so busy that his buttocks would shake from side to side. Therefore, from Lunar New Year's Eve, February 2nd, to February 8th, Tomato could only guarantee 1 chapter per day. Please understand. After the Lunar New Year, his speed would recover. Oh, today was February 1st, so he would update as usual. This Lunar New Year, Tomato would also call for monthly vote. Regardless of whether it was a wedding or the Lunar New Year, everyone had to give some red packets. Just throw some monthly votes. Chapter 386. Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay. Beside Luo Feng's living quarters, there was a wooden villa. Luo Feng followed the stairs to the 3rd floor of the villa. The glass door of the staircase was closed. Creak. Luo Feng pushed the door open and entered. This was a room that was close to 100 square meters. There were many computer desks inside, and on each desk was a laptop. In front of the computers there were men and women typing on virtual keyboards, looking at all kinds of information. There were a total of 21 workers in the room. At the furthest back, at the largest table, sat a youth that looked exactly like Luo Feng, only much thinner and weaker. Big brother! Luo Hua shouted shocked. It's quite lively here. Luo Feng smiled as he surveyed the entire office. Mr. Luo, good day. Mr. Luo. The men and women all bowed nervously. This group of workers were all investors that had been with Luo Hua for a long time. As they were used to it, Luo Hua brought them into the virtual universe. Even though there was a quantum computer to help, there was still a difference between a quantum computer and a human. Big brother, why have you come to my place? Come, let's go to the side and chat. I'll wait a moment. Luo Hua swiftly returned to the computer, keying in some commands before running over. Let's go. In the office, there was a tea room beside. Luo Feng and Luo Hua sat down. Big brother, coming over when I'm working, it's rare. Luo Hua smiled. It's like this. Luo Feng smiled. Tomorrow is the day of the triennial Ganwu auction. Ganwu auction? Luo Hua was shocked when he heard it, after which he revealed a look of glee, saying, Isn't that the legendary Ganwu Universe country's highest auction? The last time I was chatting with an investor, I've heard about it before. I heard the requirements to participate in the auction are very high. The lowest requirement is a 3-star client. Luo Feng nodded. Damn. Luo Hua stared wide-eyed. 3-star client? This auction's level is really high. 3-star clients in the entire Black Dragon Mountain starfield, those that could be considered 3-star clients were pitifully few. They were all big figures. Luo Feng smiled. I came here to ask, the 2 trillion universe dollars I gave you 2 years ago, how is it going? Speaking of which, Luo Hua revealed an excited look and said, 2 trillion universe dollars, even in the universe's investment market, in many investment sectors, it's considered a huge amount of money. Big capital has its advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that it can influence the market to a certain extent. The disadvantage is that it's not flexible enough. Sometimes it can't be sold even if you want to. Last year's operations, we made a profit of 50% at the peak, but there were also times where we made a loss. On average, we didn't make a profit or a loss. I've accumulated some experience in operating large funds and perfected my investment strategy. This year, at its peak, the capital reached 3.6 trillion universe credits. However, the market hasn't been good recently, and there are still 3 trillion universe dollars left in asset. However, there's no rush, the market has to wait. I'm waiting for the market to explode now. Luo Hua chuckled. Luo Feng nodded. I need money right now, how much can you take out? If you want money, you have to sell. After all, my assets are not in cash. Luo Hua said solemnly. But to sell it now, bro, to tell the truth, I've been planning for the past half a year. Now, he just had to wait for the market to explode and make a killing. To sell it now, it's really not worth it. However, bro, if you're in a rush to use it, you can sell it within a day. However, with such a large amount of selling, it would easily cause the price to drop. I estimate that you can get 2.8 trillion universe dollars. That's not bad. Oh, Luo Feng nodded. No rush, this auction will last for 10 days. If I don't have enough money, I'll contact you. Alright. Luo Hua nodded. The Ganwu Universe country's biggest event. The Ganwu auction. Once every 3 years, Luo Feng had long been anticipating it. Bro, I'm always online. If you need to raise money, inform me immediately. I'll immediately sell it for cash. If you're really in a rush, I've already discussed it with a friend. When the time comes, we can urgently borrow money, using my investments as collateral. Luo Hua said. Luo Feng. Beside, Su Xian smiled. When you return, you have to tell me about the auction. I'm very curious about this Ganwu Universe country's biggest event too. Luo Feng nodded. After bidding farewell to his parents, wife and brother, he immediately left the 9-star Bay district. Summoning his Pegasus, he rode it to the teleportation point. Teleport. Luo Feng stood within the teleportation point, holding the Ganwu auction invitation in his hand. Who? Luo Feng immediately vanished, leaving the Black Dragon Mountain Island and teleporting to a floating city in the air above the Ganwu continent. The invitation shot out dots of light, causing the floating city's defenses to automatically open up, allowing Luo Feng to enter. This was an incomparably elegant floating piece of land within the clouds. This floating city had beautiful sceneries, flowers and plants could be seen everywhere. And the most eye-catching thing in the entire floating city was that incomparably huge structure, the auction hall. The Ganwu auction that was held once every 3 years, was always held in this auction hall. Sir, how do you do? Welcome to this time's Ganwu auction. This is your seat number. Young miss, how do you do? Welcome to this time's Ganwu auction. This is your seat number. Many people were dressed either beautifully or simply. Some had the body of a snake, others were incredibly tall and sturdy. Those who came to participate in the Ganwu Universe auction were simply a sea of people. At the entrance of the auction hall, there were already 2 long lines. Everyone was queuing to enter. So many 3-star customers? Luo Feng too was queuing. In front of him was a huge man that was almost like a burning flame. Behind Luo Feng was a 1m tall, but with 3 eyes and a cold dwarf. However, that natural aura of a strong warrior made Luo Feng feel pressured. The 3-star customers are almost all sector lords. Very few are big merchants or youths with powerful backgrounds. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. Almost all sector lords? Luo Feng's gaze swept. The queue had already formed 2 long lines. There were at least a few thousand of them. A few thousand sector lords? This auction hall has a total of 16 entrances. Hence, it's not just you who are queuing. The other 15 entrances are all queuing. Right now there are about 100,000 sector lords queuing. Babata said. 100,000? Luo Feng stared wide-eyed. 100,000 sector lords? That was too crazy. Puta, there were about 31 million participants in the last auction. Do you think this time will exceed that? In front of Luo Feng, the huge man whose entire body was almost like a burning flame said solemnly. It will definitely exceed. It's said that this year there will be a slot to enter the primal universe to study. This slot is a sector lord slot. The highest it can allow a sector lord to enter. Many undying beings have come over, wanting to buy this slot. Just for this slot, there will definitely be many sector lords here. In front of the huge man, a man covered in a robe said hoarsely. Luo Feng was stunned. 31 million? Primal universe? While queuing, he would often hear the discussions of the sector lords around him. The contents of their discussions caused Luo Feng to be stunned. Because these sector lords were discussing many topics that made Luo Feng confused. For example, this time in the Starfield secret region, out of the 18 sector lords that went with us, only 3 managed to make it out. The other 15, maybe in tens of thousands of years or millions of years they might come out. They might never come out again. Your Tuta army has made a huge contribution in the battlefield outside the region. Congratulations! The sector lords around all knew each other and were discussing these topics. However, Luo Feng just blinked and remained silent. This brother, which family and organization are you from? One of the teams beside Luo Feng, a skinny one-eyed man smiled and greeted Luo Feng. No family, no organization. Luo Feng replied. The one-eyed man nodded and didn't ask further. Just from the aura alone, one could tell the strength of the people around him. The large group of sector lords around him could easily tell that Luo Feng was a weak punk. However, in this situation, the weaker one was, the more they couldn't afford to offend such a punk. Because for a weak person to become a 3-star client, his background was usually very terrifying. Sir, how do you do? Welcome to this time's Ganwu auction. This is your seat number. Luo Feng received a tag. On it was a translucent screen, and on it was a seat number. Candy 99,286. It's huge. Entering the auction hall, Luo Feng was half stunned. The entire auction hall was like a football field on Earth. The The spectator stands were densely packed all around. However, there were just too many seats in this auction hall. There's a total of 3 million seats here. Every seat is 6 m wide and 10 m tall. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. Luo Feng nodded. Every seat was 6 m wide and 10 m tall. What a huge seat! A total of 3 million seats, arranged in rows, one couldn't even see the end of it. It was almost as though the countless seats formed a world. The seats were designed to be huge, mainly for the huge clients. Candy 99286. Luo Feng looked at the number engraved on the seat and sat on it. The 6 m wide seat was even bigger than his own bed. Countless seats, the entire auction hall was filled with discussions, almost as though there were countless gods discussing. So many sector lords? Luo Feng held his breath. The Ganwu Universe country has a total of 13,000 starfields. Just like the Black Dragon Mountain starfield, there are close to 100 sector lords. Then the entire Ganwu Universe country, on average, there are over 1 million sector lords. And in truth, because of the many Undying's teachings, the Ganwu Universe country has a higher chance of producing sector lords. The entire Ganwu Universe country has over a few million sector lords. Luo Feng felt his heart racing. A few million sector lords? The Ganwu Universe country, it was no wonder it was called a universe country. Such a universe country was simply too huge. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Chapter 387. The Ganwu Universe country has an incomparably huge power, even your teacher can't compare to it. Undying warriors, in front of the huge Ganwu Universe country, can only lower their noble heads. After all, the Ganwu Universe country has a lot of people. Of course, for an undying warrior like your teacher who has no ties and is extremely strong, the Ganwu Universe country wouldn't easily mess with him. However, if they were to really fight, paying a certain price, killing your teacher wouldn't be a problem. Babata exclaimed. There's no other way, there's strength in numbers. Luo Feng nodded. Looking at the endless number of seats in the auction hall, and the endless number of sector lords, he understood what strength in numbers meant. 3 hours later. Attention all! A clear voice immediately resounding throughout the entire auction hall. The vast auction hall immediately quietened down, everyone consciously stopped talking. Luo Feng looked towards the center of the hall. A bald old man with a black turtle shell on his back stood in the center of the hall, and in the air above appeared a 3D image of this old man that was close to 1,000 m tall. Welcome everyone to this year's Ganwu auction. Thank you to the Virtual Universe Company, Universe First Bank, Universe Galaxy Bank, Battleaxe Dojo, Universe Mercenary Alliance, and the Ganwu Universe country for their support. The old man smiled. I believe many people recognize me. Everyone can call me Old Badua. This time I'll still be hosting everyone. This is a top-notch gathering. The last Ganwu auction, there were 131,6038 participants, and this time statistics have just been released. Does everyone know how many people are there? 182,3959 people. 182 million, more than 500,000 people from the last time. Immediately the entire auction hall was filled with a wave-like clamor. Those who could come here were all at least 3-star clients within the densely packed seats. Luo Feng, however, smacked his lips, sighing within. In the Black Dragon Mountain starfield, my wealth can be ranked in the top 100, however in the entire Ganwu Universe country. Different statuses, different views. Without reaching the threshold of a 3-star client, one didn't even have the right to participate in the Ganwu auction. Let's cut to the chase. It's almost time for this year's auction to officially begin. Before the auction officially begins, we'll do the same as usual. We'll start with an auction to warm up the crowd. The turtle-shelled old man pointed to the side, and a huge screen appeared next to him. On the screen, a beautiful cosmic galaxy appeared. Galaxies passed by one after another, and each galaxy had many planets with life. There were also many experts on those planets. This is the Tana star zone. Within our Ganwu universe country's 13,000 starfields, it's a small starfield that's ranked towards the back. The entire starfield has a total of 668 galaxies. Previously, this was the territory of an undying realm expert. However, this immortal existence is preparing to go on a life and death adventure, so he wants to sell the entire starfield. Therefore, our auction's warm-up auction will be this starfield, Tana Starfield. The turtle-shelled old man shouted loudly. The auction hall was in an uproar. Luo Feng, who was sitting high up in the huge seat, was also shocked. Tana Starfield? Auctioning an entire star zone right off the bat? One had to know that the Silver Blue Empire, a low-level civilization in the universe, only had 8 galaxies. Although this Tana star field was a small star field, it still had more than 600 galaxies. The warm-up auction is a small star field. Looks like there will be a lot of high-priced items in this auction. I heard that the finale of this auction is a spot to go to the primal universe to study. This auction is definitely one of the best auctions in the past 10,000 years, some discussions carried from the huge seat next to Luo Feng. The Ganwu auction is held once every 3 years. However, every auction is slightly different. Once in a few thousand or 10,000 years, there will be an auction with high-level treasures. Usually, the so-called warm-up auction shows the level of the auction. Tana Starfield. An independent starfield, as long as it doesn't establish a country, it will receive the protection of the Ganwu universe country. A starfield like this can definitely be the foundation for a family to pass down for billions of years. There are only so many starfields in the universe country that can raise warriors and slaves, and the ones that come to the auction are even fewer. Now everyone can start bidding. The base price, 300 mixed elements, yelled the turtle-shelled old man. Each increment must be a multiple of the mixed elements. Immediately, a number appeared on the huge screen beside him. 300 mixed elements. 400 mixed elements. The price immediately soared. This scene caused Luo Feng, who was sitting far away, to be confused. Babata, the price of a starfield is between 1,000 and 10,000 universe dollars. This starfield has a total of 668 galaxies, so in theory, it should be around 200 to 300 mixed elements. Luo Feng, you're talking about selling individual galaxies. And right now, the entire starfield is selling them. This is different. If the galaxies are scattered, it'll be easy for the surrounding forces to bully them, making it hard for them to develop. And the entire starfield is one entity, said Babata. The entire starfield supports each other, so it'll be hard for the surrounding forces to oppress it. So, the price of an individual starfield will be very high, said Babata. Luo Feng held the black tag and looked at the huge screen in the distance. The number on the screen continuously refreshed. 400 mixed elements. 420 mixed elements. 460 mixed elements. In the blink of an eye, it became 860 mixed elements. 861. 868. 876. The rate of increase slowed down. 1,000 mixed element units. The sudden appearance of this number silenced the entire auction hall. No one else continued to bid. 1,000 mixed elements, counting down from 3, 3, 2, 1. Congratulations to the guest KBR 38293. You have won the Tana Star Territory and become the owner of the Tana Star Territory. The turtle-shelled elder's voice was incomparably loud and clear. This year's Ganwu auction will officially start soon. 58, 57. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. His voice rumbled like a deity's. The center of the auction hall became incomparably dazzling, and the light shone on the faces of the experts in the huge seats around it. This year's auction officially begins. Now, for the first batch of auction items, you can see the 1,000 items that will be auctioned on your auction tokens. Those who want to buy it, please be prepared to bid. The turtle-shelled old man shouted, "Now for the first item, 92 bonus, a metal-type lifeform." The metallic lifeform of the Bonaclan can fuse with a spaceship, giving the spaceship the ability to recover and upgrade itself. The metallic lifeform of the Bonaclan, a total of 92. The starting price is 200 billion universe dollars. The highest bid of 92 will receive this metallic lifeform of the Bonaclan, yelled the turtle-shelled old man. Immediately, many people in the entire auction hall started bidding. Luo Feng, who was in the crowd, sat on his throne and lowered his head to look at the black token in his hand, auctioning 92 items at once, pretty fast. This metallic lifeform can actually fuse with a spaceship, and when the metallic lifeform's strength increases, it will also continuously upgrade the spaceship? Interesting. Luo Feng looked at the continuously rising price, shook his head, and didn't bid anymore. The auction items were auctioned off one after another like flowing water. The lowest price was a few tens of billions of universe dollars, while the normal ones were a few thousand universe dollars. After all, the initial warm-up auction was an exception. 1,000 mixed elements. Those who dared to bid this price were probably 4-star clients. Billowing water fruit, the best item for nurturing spiritual beasts and plant lifeforms. Even if you're heavily injured, eating the billowing water fruit will have a healing effect. 100 billowing water fruit is actually 1 unit. There's a total of 39 units of billowing water fruit here, and the lowest bid for each unit is 100 billion universe dollars. Immediately, another bid was made. Normally, a galaxy with hundreds of thousands of planets would have a price between 100 billion to 1 trillion universe dollars. Any one of the items here would normally be worth tens of thousands of life planets, or even hundreds of thousands of life planets. Luo Feng, buy the next unit. This billowing water fruit has extremely good nurturing effects for the cloud contact vine. Hence, Luo Feng finally spent 180 billion and 181 billion universe dollars to buy 2 units of billowing water fruit. Automaton Battle Uniform, perfect protection for the entire body. The surface of the automaton battle uniform will naturally form an energy barrier, and the energy source for the barrier is the energy crystal within the battle uniform. This automaton battle uniform is AD8 grade battle uniform. Even if a Star Traveler punk wears it, a Domain Lord level 5 or 6 wouldn't be able to break through it, and their spirit energy wouldn't be able to penetrate it either. This automaton battle uniform, there's only one of it, and it's definitely the best gift for one's beloved disciple, or one's own children. With it, one will be much safer. The starting price is 1 mixed element. The turtle-shelled old man shouted loudly. This item shocked Luo Feng. It actually didn't require any of his own strength to defend against attacks. This automaton battle uniform. Luo Feng had never heard of it before. However, this thing was useless for a sector lord to wear. Damn, the price is rising so quickly. Luo Feng looked at the final result that left him dumbstruck. 8 mixed elements. This was the final price, close to 10 mixed element. A gift purely for one's beloved disciple, or child, was actually close to the price of all the treasures Luo Feng obtained in the world within a world. Luo Feng, this automaton battle uniform has such high defense, it's extremely rare. Don't even mention AD8 grade, you probably haven't even seen a C-grade automaton battle uniform before. This thing is purely a luxury item. The person who bought this automaton battle uniform is probably an undying being. Babata said. The auction items flew by. All sorts of auction items dazzled one's eyes. Just one of them was enough to make a domain lord go crazy. However, in the Ganwu Universe country's highest level gathering, with over 1 million sector lords gathered, and even a few undying beings amongst them, they didn't hold back when bidding. 3 consecutive batches of items, a total of 3,000 items, were quickly sold. Now it's the 4th batch of items. On everyone's auction tags, you can see the next 1,000 items that will be auctioned. If you see someone you want to auction, please make your preparations. The turtle-shelled old man was still smiling as he spoke. Immediately, the auction hall went silent. Countless powerful fighters on the thrones all looked at the 1,000 items that were about to be auctioned. Nanshin armament, Nanshin armament. One of the 9 godly weapons of a spirit reader controller, the Nanshin armament. Luo Feng, this is the most suitable spirit weapon for you. This Nanshin armament, you have to get it. Just as Luo Feng was looking, Babata's excited voice resounded in his mind. P.S. 2 chapters completed, both chapters were late. Tears, please give me some consolation. Chapter 388. Controller of the 9 godly weapons? Nanshin armament? Luo Feng looked down suspiciously at the black tag in his hand. On the screen of the tag was a detailed list of 1,000 items. It's most suitable for you, Luo Feng. It's very hard to buy normally. Luo Feng, you have to buy it. I understand, I'll take a look first. Luo Feng looked carefully at the screen of the tag. Very quickly, he saw one of the items. Nanshin armament. With a gentle tap, he saw the detailed information on the Nanshin armament. Nanshin armament, one of the 9 godly weapons for spirit reader controllers. Its full name is Hun Tian Yen or 9-stage Hun Tian Yen. The Nanshin armament's normal form is a dark golden long rod. Within it are 10,081 thin golden little blade. Every blade is infused with incredibly profound origin law engravings. Of the 9 great godly weapons, 8 of them were created by combining the laws of time or space with the 8 elemental laws of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, and light with one of the laws of time or space. The last of the 9 godly weapons is the fusion of time and space, the 2 most profound origin laws, creating a godly weapon. And the Nanshin armament is the fusion of gold and space laws, creating a godly weapon. Its power is immense. The Nanshin armament has a total of 9 forms. Each form is stronger than the last. Similarly, the difficulty of controlling it rises constantly. The Nanshin armament's 9 forms are incredibly difficult. The first form, to a star level, it's incredibly difficult. A star level that can unleash the first form is considered invincible within the same level. The third form, to a universe level, being able to unleash the third form is considered invincible within the same level. Obtaining 1,000 consecutive victories in the Battleaxe Colosseum is extremely easy. The sixth form, to a domain lord, to be able to unleash the sixth form, one is definitely invincible amongst domain lords. Looking at the Ganwu universe country, or even the entire human race, a domain lord that can unleash the sixth form is definitely the most overpowered within the same level and level. Even comparable to the golden horned beast of the same level. The seventh form, if a level 9 sector lord was able to unleash the seventh form, he would definitely be a pinnacle sector lord. The eighth form, incomparably difficult. A sector lord level 9 warrior using the eighth form would be considered invincible amongst sector lords in the Ganwu universe country. The ninth form, the highest form. Throughout the countless years in the vast universe, almost no sector lord has been able to display the ninth form. Usually, a sector lord who could use the ninth stage would have long broken through to the immortal rank. Nanshin armament was the strongest, but also the weakest. It was most powerful because it had 9 forms, each more monstrous than the last. The weakest was because it was too difficult to use. If one's comprehension was weak, they might as well use other spirit weapons. Starting bid, 500 billion universe dollars. A total of 9. 9-fold Hun Tian Yen? What a pervert! Luo Feng muttered. At this time, sitting on the huge throne on Luo Feng's left was a black-scaled giant that was close to 6 meters tall. He looked at Luo Feng and said solemnly, "Brother, have you taken a fancy to that Hun Tian Yen? That Nanshin armament isn't something normal people can use well. The 9 godly weapons, each one of them is incomparably difficult to use, The most important thing is origin law comprehension. If you don't have the ability, it's better to buy a normal spirit weapon. It'll allow you to unleash even more power. Remember, when buying a weapon, you don't have to buy the best. You have to buy the most suitable one for yourself. That makes sense. Luo Feng smiled as he looked at the black-scaled giant. The black-scaled giant laughed, opening his huge mouth. The 9 godly weapons are extremely difficult to use. Like that Nanshan armament, a sector lord that can unleash the 8th stage would normally be able to break through to the undying level. Little brother, even if you have money, you shouldn't waste it. Just buy the most suitable one for yourself. Thanks. Luo Feng smiled and didn't say much, thinking within, this Nanshan armament is the most suitable for me. The gold origin laws, Luo Feng had a certain level of comprehension, and the space origin laws, even though Luo Feng hadn't made any progress, he was still working hard. With such good conditions, he naturally had to work hard to use the Nanshan armament. Luo Feng, that soaring shuttle's maximum power is the universe level. Your current golden horned beast body is already able to fully unleash the soaring shuttle's power. It won't have any challenge for you. And this Nanshan armament, I'm not afraid of it not being enough for you to unleash. I'm afraid you won't even have the ability to unleash its full power. The 9th stage is waiting for you to break through. Understood. Luo Feng was filled with pride. The 9th stage. I'll break through one stage at a time. Babata, how much do you think this Nanshan armament will cost? Luo Feng asked. There's a total of 9 Nanshan armaments. Amongst the sector lords here, only spirit reader controllers will fight for it. And only those who walk the path of gold and space origin laws will fight for it. However, the number of people in the auction house is huge. According to my estimation, the price will be higher. However, with your money it should be enough. Ah. Luo Feng nodded within. Right now he had about 3,986 billion universe dollars. Buying this Nanshan armament wasn't too difficult. As time passed, the expensive weapons within the incomparably vast auction house attracted bids, swiftly being bought by the warriors from the various starfields. More than 99% of the people here were sector lords. The rest were few people with powerful backgrounds, undyings. The next auction item is the Nanshan armament. The controller of one of the 9 godly weapons, the Nanshan armament. As for its power, everyone should be very clear on it. Many sector lord controllers are often troubled. After comprehending the origin laws and breaking through, the spirit weapons in their hands are unable to unleash their full power. And using the Nanshan armament, you definitely don't have to worry about this. I'm not afraid of not being able to unleash it. I'm just afraid of not having enough power. Nanshan armament, 9th stage. If you can unleash the 9th stage, you'll be able to dominate the vast universe. Not just the human universe countries, even the automaton race, demon race, and even the space beasts, you'll find it hard to find a worthy opponent. The turtle-shelled old man said loudly, "All right, let the bidding begin. There's a total of 9 Nanshan armaments. The 9 highest bids will be the winner. The starting bid, 500 billion universe dollars." Immediately, one couldn't see the end of it. On the densely packed huge thrones, millions of sector lords and even undyings, many of them began to bid. Within the countless thrones, Luo Feng sat on one of the inconspicuous thrones, entering his bid, 600 billion universe dollars. Damn! Luo Feng stared. The numbers on the screen kept jumping. On the side of the screen was the 9th highest bid. 550 billion. 600 billion. 660 billion. 700 billion, the price soared. 800 billion. Luo Feng entered again. 890 billion. 900 billion. 960 billion. The numbers besides swiftly surpassed Luo Feng's. 15,000 trillion. The number on the screen soared by a huge amount. Crazy. Luo Feng stared. Luo Feng, The Nanshin armaments auction price usually goes up to 2 trillion universe dollars. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. Indeed, 2,000 billion, 210 billion, 2110 billion, the rate of increase began to slow. 2,180 billion. Luo Feng entered the bid. After which, he stared at the 9th bid on the tag. The rate of increase continued to slow. 2,190 billion. 6 billion. It's jumping again. Luo Feng was getting anxious. Even though there were treasures that couldn't be bought normally in the auction, there were simply too many strong warriors gathered there. Who knows, there might be people who really wanted these treasures. Sometimes, the final price would be terrifyingly high. Indeed, the price continued to rise. 3,000 billion. 3,080 billion. 3,100 billion. The rising price made Luo Feng hold his breath. His eyes were slightly red. Babata, why is the price rising so ridiculously? Auctions, it's impossible to completely predict. Sometimes, a dozen or so experts would suddenly appear in the auction house who wanted the Nanshin armament and had the capital to raise the price. After all, there are only 9 of them. Once they're sold out, buying the Nanshin armament in the future will depend on luck. After all, the next Ganwu auction might not have the Nanshin armament. Babata said, "Let's bid, we have to get it." "I know." Luo Feng gritted his teeth. Looking at the current price, he entered another bid. 3,200 billion. However, following the shocking rise, the price quickly broke through 3,200 billion. "Babata, send a mail to my brother. Tell him how much money he can immediately borrow," Luo Feng asked. Once the auction was completed, one didn't have to pay immediately. It had to be done in batches of 1,000. After every batch was completed, the money would be deducted. "Your brother has replied. He said that with just a phone call, he can immediately get his friends to transfer the money. Right now, the highest he can transfer is 2 trillion universe dollars. Luo Feng relaxed. The bidding had already begun to slow down. Obviously, a sector lord's money didn't just fall from the sky. 3,611. 2 billion universe dollars. Luo Feng entered the bid. The numbers on the screen slowly rose. 36,081. 36,085. 36090. Finally, the numbers stopped. The final bid of the 9th place was 3,610. 1 billion universe dollars. The 9th place bid is 3,610. 1 billion universe dollars. Counting down from 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Congratulations to the 9 guests. You have become the owners of the Nanshin armament. The turtle-shelled old man shouted loudly, "Let us continue." The next item is ************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* Congratulations, Customer Candy 99286. You've won the Nanshin armament. Please prepare to sign the contract after the auction ends. Luo Feng, this Nanshin armament will always accompany you. Step into the universe level, domain lord, sector lord, and even break through to the undying level. It will always accompany you. 10,000 years, 100,000 years, or even longer. This will be your most important companion. It will accompany you through life and death. You have to use it well. Babata encouraged. Luo Feng nodded. He couldn't help but feel excited. The Nanshin armament, his own weapon. After about an hour, this batch of auction items were all sold. Luo Feng paid the money too. They agreed on the location of the Nanshin armament in reality. Now is the 5th batch of auction items. Everyone's tag will be able to see the next 1,000 items. If you see anyone you wish to bid, please prepare yourselves. The turtle-shelled old man's voice resounded throughout the vast auction hall. Countless sector lords in their thrones lowered their heads to look at the tags. Luo Feng too lowered his head to look. Damn! Life fruit? Luo Feng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Within these 1,000 items there was indeed a life fruit. The life fruit had a starting price of 500 billion universe dollars. There were a total of 12 of them. My balance? I still have about 374.8 billion left. It's not even enough for the starting price. Luo Feng rubbed his head, blinking helplessly. P.S. New Year's Eve, updated to Happy New Year, everyone. Chapter 389. The starting price of the life fruit is 500 billion universe dollars. However, the life fruit is equivalent to another life for the sector lord. Hence the price will be higher. Usually over 2 trillion. If there are more people fighting for it, the price could go even higher. Babata said. There's no other way. Luo Feng shook his head and gave up on the life fruit. Even though Hong wanted a life fruit, he was also prepared to grow the cloud contact vine. In truth, using the life fruit to grow the cloud contact vine was a very wasteful action, because while the life fruit was precious, it was equivalent to another life for the sector lord. Using it to grow a plant life, the price-to-performance ratio was far from other items, like the one he bought before, the rising water fruit. Back then, in the world within a world, fighting for the Thunderstones to exchange for treasures, you used the life fruit to grow the cloud contact vine. However, in truth, overeating isn't good for the body. The life fruit's energy is too strong and huge. Swallowing it all at once will cause the cloud contact vine to overeat, wasting a lot of the medicine. It's simply too wasteful. And the life fruit's best use isn't to grow plant life. Didn't you buy 200 rising water fruits? The rising water fruit is used to grow spirit beasts and plant life, and the medicine's effects are much smaller than the life fruit, much easier to endure. Even though the cloud contact vine will overeat, it won't explode like the life fruit. Every 10 days it eats 1 rising water fruit, spending 3 years, eating 100 of them. Your big brother Hong's cloud contact vine will grow to the universe level 3 or 4. It's much better than swallowing the life fruit at once. The life fruit, the final price was 2,869 billion. It was cheaper than the Nanshan armament, but it was still ridiculous. In the following auctions, precious treasures appeared one after another, causing Luo Feng to drool, because he didn't have enough money in his pockets anymore. Even if I don't buy it, it's not bad to take a look. Luo Feng smiled as he held the auction tag, looking at the 1,000 items on it, randomly clicking on an item and looking at its detailed information. The detailed information of the precious items was indeed an eye-opener. It allowed Luo Feng to know many secrets of the universe. When Luo Feng was attending the Ganwu Universe country's greatest event, the Ganwu auction, his little brother Luohua was in his own workshop. 9-star Bay, that villa's workshop. How boring. Lying on the chair, there were 6 laptops on the desk in front of him at the same time. Each laptop had a web page open on the screen, monitoring his 6 most important investments. I played a virtual fighting game for half a day, and then a virtual gun battle for half a day. I have nothing to do. How boring. Luo Hua lay on the couch with his legs on the table. The others in the studio were doing their own things seriously. As a financial investor, he could be idle for 10 days to half a month, or even a few months to half a year. Once the market started to rise, they would be very busy. Boss, XBHF 000891, 9279 suddenly appeared with a huge bill. A young girl shouted. Oh! Luo Hua, who was originally very relaxed, suddenly sat up straight, pulled his chair, and slid it to the table. He stared at the screen of the second laptop on the left. The screen was obviously showing the huge bill. Luo Hua grinned. I'm not afraid of you stirring up trouble, but I'm afraid of you being dead. This is our chance. On this investment, Luo Hua had invested 35% of his capital. For someone with such a large amount of capital, investing so much in one investment was considered a very high allocation. The reason why he did this was because Luo Hua had confidence. From the initial capital of 700 billion universe dollars, it had risen to 800 billion in 2 years. The profit was considered small, but Luo Hua hadn't sold it yet. He was waiting for an opportunity. How long it is horizontally, how high it is vertically. It depends on who has the most patience. Let's hope this time it's the real deal. Luo Hua was like a poisonous snake, staring at the screen. In the universe's investment market, don't even talk about his 2 trillion universe dollars capital. He was a 4-star client or even a 5-star client. He had to be careful. This was because the bigger the investment, the easier it was for some financial giants to appear. Who knows, it might be the investment department of some universe country, it might be the Universe Galaxy Bank, the Universe First Bank, or some super organization. The moment he bumped into them, if he wasn't careful, not only would he not get any benefits, he might even die. 3 times leverage within the security perimeter. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, keep an eye on XBHF 000891, 9279. Same rules. Luo Hua shouted. Yes, boss. A group of youths from Earth were extremely excited. Luo Hua's investment had a trading cycle of 12 hours, and each trade lasted for 4 hours. Boss, the price is rising rapidly, it's already risen by 6%, are we going to sell or not? Wait! Luo Hua shouted. It's starting to fall, there's only 5% left, continue falling. The moment the price started to fluctuate, it was indeed worrisome. This was because the moment it fell by a third, with their current 3 times leverage, they would all be wiped out. At that time, their 700 billion universe dollars capital would all return to zero, and they would lose everything. Luo Hua was expressionless, like a poisonous snake, staring at the screen in front of him. There's still 2 minutes until the market closes. It's rising, it's starting to rise. The first trading cycle, up 12%. The second trading cycle, up 8%. The third trading cycle, down 6%. In the fourth trading cycle, it was volatile and fell slightly by 0.8%. The market had gone from a stagnant state to a state of chaos. Even some financial giants didn't dare to be careless. This was because if they played too big, the moment it fell, they wouldn't be able to get rid of it. When dealing with large and small funds, it was actually more difficult for the large funds to double. The fifth trading cycle, on the other hand, was soaring, rising in a straight line, all the way to the limit of 15%. Sell off 30% of the stock in batches. Luo Hua ordered coldly. Boss, the market is very good now. If it keeps rising today, many small investors will also go crazy tomorrow. There's definitely room for it to continue rising. Suddenly, someone shouted. Although they shouted, they didn't dare to hesitate in their actions. Boss's orders, they could raise their opinions, but they had to execute it. At such a crucial moment, if they were late, they could suffer heavy losses. Sell off 1 set. Sell off 2 sets. Sell off 3 sets. 3 team leaders shouted loudly. Luo Hua, who was sitting in front of his desk, revealed a smile. Very good. The 6th trading cycle, the price continued to rise. It seemed like Luo Hua had sold off too early. This investment is a total of $700 billion. Sell off 30% of the stock, that's $210 billion. With 3 times leverage, if it continues to rise today, we'll earn 20 to 30 billion universe dollars less. The young people discussed quietly. Although they were discussing, they didn't dare to disobey Luo Hua's orders. Sell off 10% of the stock. Continue to sell off 10% of the stock. In the 7th trading cycle, Luo Hua actually sold off twice. In this 7th trading cycle, the price kept rising. In the 8th trading cycle, just as it started to rise, it started to fall. In the end, it was sealed at the limit down. At the start of the 9th trading cycle, it continued to fall. Buy 10% of the stock. Luo Hua ordered. In such a thrilling situation of rising and falling, Luo Hua made clear orders again and again. It seemed like a dangerous order to buy, but as it rose, it became a profit. In the 12th trading cycle, it continued to rise. Then it continued to rise. In this process, Luo Hua had been selling off. Target achieved. Sell off the remaining stock. Luo Hua ordered. Yes. The market was booming. Luo Hua had already sold off all the stock he had. 2 years of waiting and half a year of planning. Now the harvest is complete. Luo Hua smiled. No matter how much it continued to rise, it didn't matter to him anymore. His target had been achieved, and that was enough. Final settlement: the cash is 4,681 billion, and the capital is 700 billion. That's more than 6 times the capital. Luo Hua was very satisfied. Reasonable use of leverage could indeed allow him to earn excess returns. However, leverage could easily lead to losses. It was a double-edged sword. This investment continued to rise for the next 3 trading cycles. Occasionally it would fall slightly, but overall it maintained a steady rise. This caused countless investors in the universe to be extremely excited. Following the first limit down, this investment continued to fall for 3 consecutive times. Because everyone was so scared, no one bought it. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't. All of them were in my hands. Luo Hua shook his head and sighed. Who knows how many people were forced to commit suicide because of this? Boss is amazing. Boss is still the calmest. In the studio, seeing the 4 consecutive limits down, they were all drenched in cold sweat. 4 limits down, each 15%. Only half of the highest price was left. Moreover, it was just a short 4 cycles, which was only 2 days. This kind of crazy fall was simply too frightening. Some people profit, some people lose. Luo Hua shook his head. Those who know how to buy are experts. Those who know how to sell are the winners. It's fine as long as you reach your target. Don't be too greedy. Originally, I was prepared for 20% to 30% of this investment to not be able to be sold in time. I didn't expect it to be better than I expected. Luo Hua ordered. Alright, this price can be used to build a portfolio. Build a portfolio of 100 billion within the 1% range. Do not use leverage. Under inertia, this price will continue to fall. Understood. His underlings immediately started building their portfolio. Even though they knew it would fall, they still built it. Even though it would rise, they still sold it. It seems stupid. However, after every transaction, they would realize the brilliance of these orders. Calm down. Luo Hua was very clear that the main reason he was able to succeed was because of his absolute calmness. This was a type of absolute calmness that was formed from being disabled and alone for a long period of time during his youth. Calmness and seizing opportunities, along with some talent and some investment culture from Earth, created Luo Hua. Brother, I have 4,200 billion in cash here. During the 13th transaction cycle, Luo Hua directly transferred this sum of money to Luo Feng. The Ganwu auction usually lasts for around 10 days. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. Every batch of 1,000 items is auctioned and lasts 3 to 6 hours. The length of the auction varies. The 10th day of the Ganwu auction. In the gigantic auction hall, large amounts of sector lords sat on the millions of thrones. They all looked towards the host in the center. A total of 50 batches of items, a total of 50,000 items, have all been auctioned off. The turtle-shelled old man laughed loudly. Now it's time for the final climax of this auction, the auction of the final 100 items. In this final auction, each item is either unique or extremely precious, and the starting price of each item is 0. The end of the auction, the final auction, was about to begin. 4,200 billion universe dollars? In the distant densely packed thrones, in one of the inconspicuous thrones, Luo Feng's face was filled with shock. Luo Hua said in his letter that this is profit? His capital wasn't affected? 10 days ago, His brother didn't earn much. In the blink of an eye, he earned so much. Luo Feng was a bit stunned. Haha, Luo Feng, your brother's skill level is really high. Even if I were to operate it, I wouldn't be able to catch up to him. The bigger the capital, the harder it is to earn. Other large capitals won't let you eat meat so easily. Respect, respect. Babata couldn't stop praising. With this 400 billion universe dollars, you might be able to participate in the final auction. P.S. Update complete. Chapter 390. Next up is the first item of the finale. To be able to be the first item of the finale, this item is definitely one of the top 3 most valuable items in this auction. A golden leaf from the ancient class tree. The turtle-shelled old man shouted loudly. At the same time, the image of a seemingly normal golden leaf appeared on the screen beside him. However, the entire leaf itself seemed to have some sort of mysterious power. The millions of seats in the auction hall were filled with confusion as they discussed. What's the ancient class tree? What's that? Don't know. 99% of the millions of sector lords present were clueless. Luo Feng was also confused. Babata, what's this? This auction sure is ruthless. This auction is definitely the #1 item of the Ganwu auctions in the past 10,000 years. Babata exclaimed. This golden leaf from the ancient class tree is an extremely valuable item in the vast universe. If you haven't reached the undying level, don't ask. There's a lot involved here. Order the Empire's investment department to transfer as much money as possible to me. On one of the many thrones in the auction hall, a middle-aged man with long hair and long eyebrows ordered through his virtual assistant. Oh? The golden leaf from the ancient class tree? This time, I'm only here for the slot to enter the primal universe. I didn't expect to encounter a golden leaf. A chubby man wearing a strange armor stood there. It was as if an infinite amount of thunder and lightning gathered around him. He was like the embodiment of the origin laws. Those who know how valuable this golden leaf is, understand its value. Those who don't know, forget it. There's a request from above that I can't go into detail. The turtle-shelled old man shouted, Begin the auction, starting price 0. The first item of the finale, the golden leaf from the ancient class tree began the auction. 1,000 mixed elements. The first number appeared on the tokens in the hands of the millions of sector lords present, as well as some extremely wealthy individuals and even undying existences. This made Luo Feng take in a deep breath. 1,000 mixed elements right off the bat? Such a huge amount of money could buy a few hundred life fruits or a small starfield. 2,000 mixed elements. 2,200 mixed elements. 2,800 mixed elements. 3,300 mixed elements. The rise of the price stunned everyone present. To an undying existence, this was a huge amount. Deity Master, the entire Empire's treasury is out of money. Bastard! A bald, handsome, and tall man cursed in a low voice. His eyes were filled with absolute darkness and coldness. He was like the embodiment of the night. At this time, the bid had already reached 5,000 mixed elements. Unbelievable! Luo Feng was shocked. The minimum requirement for a 4-star customer is 10,000 mixed elements. That's considered a better standard amongst the undying. Babata said, Right now, the ones competing should all be undying. Luo Feng nodded. Sector Lord Kabo. His wealth was comparable to a poorer undying, only 200 to 300 mixed elements. But now, the price had reached 5,000 mixed elements. This price made the sector lords dumbfounded. The first and last items in the finale of the auction will be very precious, Babata explained. 8,900 mixed elements. Is there anything higher? The turtle-shelled old man shouted with a smile. This price was already above the acceptable price of the organizers. If no one bid above the acceptable price, the organizers would arrange for someone to buy it. 8,950 mixed elements. Another new high price. 8,960 mixed elements. Obviously, the price increases were much smaller each time. The subsequent price increases were very, very small. Everyone, 89-90 mixed elements, is there anyone higher? The turtle-shelled old man looked around. Countdown 10, 9, 3, 2, 1. Congratulations to guest number BUE 52522. You've acquired this incredibly precious ancient class tree's golden leaf. Luo Feng was very shocked. This 8,990 mixed elements, even the E-grade automaton ship he acquired was only worth about 1 to 2,000 mixed element. 8,990 mixed elements was enough to buy 5 to 6 automaton ships, and it was only enough to buy one leaf? As the finale items were auctioned off one by one, Luo Feng calmed down. So not every item was ridiculously expensive. Out of the 100 finale items, only 2 or 3 were ridiculously expensive. 20 of them were more expensive, while the rest were considered incredibly rare. As for the price, it wasn't that ridiculous. 22,000 universe dollars, countdown 3, 2, 1. Congratulations to guest number YPR20445. You've acquired this Sky Channel crystal. The next auction item is even rarer. Even in the auctions of the various universe countries, it's hard to find an item like this, the skin of a Masha clansman. The turtle-shelled old man shouted loudly. Immediately, the densely packed crowd of sector lords in the 1,000,000 thrones in the auction hall began to boil. Yes, the skin of a Masha clansman, you didn't hear wrong. The turtle-shelled old man was extremely excited. On the screen beside him, a strange black skin appeared. On the skin, there were strange engravings of a dark gold color. Us humans and demon beasts are all flesh and blood-type life forms. As for the Masha clansmen, they are energy-type life forms. As long as their crystal core isn't destroyed, the Masha clansmen won't die. Even if they die, the Masha clansmen's energy will dissipate, leaving behind only a shattered crystal core. Killing them is already extremely difficult, but to obtain their skin is even more difficult. As a race that specializes in assassination, as well as being favored by space, their skin contains the space origin law engravings. I'm sure everyone understands the value of their skin. The 1,000,000 sector lords in the auction hall were all in discussion, and Luo Feng, who was seated amongst the many emperors, was rather excited. Masha clansman, Luo Feng, this is the skin of a Masha clansman. If the golden horned beast is said to have the talent of the gold origin laws, then this Masha clansman has the talent of the space origin laws. If you use its skin to nurture your second clone in your internal world, this is simply a perfect match. Babata was extremely excited. Luo Feng was stunned. His golden horned beast could have 3 clones in its lifetime. The first one was the Earth-human clone, and now that the golden horned beast had reached the universe level, it could indeed nurture a second clone. As there were only 3 clones, Luo Feng didn't dare be careless. If there wasn't a good one, he'd rather leave it empty. Masha clansman? Luo Feng was filled with anticipation and suspicion. In the vast universe there are many races. The flesh and blood-type life forms are considered the strongest. However, the other life forms cannot be underestimated. Like the strange races with eternal life, some metal life forms, energy life forms, soul life forms, plant life forms, etc. There are tens of millions of metal life forms. There are also tens of millions of plant life forms. In every life form, there will be some that are favored by the universe. The energy life forms, the Masha clansman, belongs to the most elite race. The Masha clansman is known as the strongest race of assassins. Their only weakness is that their growth is extremely slow. However, the moment they grow, they will become the most terrifying assassins. They are naturally proficient in space, making their appearances extremely strange. Their escape is also hard to defend against. Luo Feng, you have the Masha clansman body. Then, you can use the Masha clansman body to study the space technique. It will be much easier. Babata said. Luo Feng nodded. Right, the golden horned beast's 3 clones were the best to nurture. Right now, this Masha clansman's skin was indeed suitable for nurturing clones. And the most precious thing to them is their skin. Because they are energy life forms, when they die, their bodies will dissipate like energy, leaving behind only an incomplete crystal core. Only when they are killed under special circumstances will their bodies be preserved. That's why their skin is especially precious. Oh right, the price of this skin is quite high, at least a few hundred mixed elements. You can't afford it. Babata said. Luo Feng was speechless. Can't afford it. Such a good choice for a second clone, yet he couldn't afford it. Actually, I don't need that much skin, I only need a little bit of it. Luo Feng thought to himself. However, he understood that no one would be stupid enough to give him a little bit. However, I regret to inform everyone, this Masha clansman's skin is incomplete. The turtle-shelled old man pointed at the screen beside, at the black skin with the mysterious dark gold engravings. This skin is only a small portion of the Masha clansman's skin. The rest has been torn apart or destroyed during the battle. Who? Are you kidding me? Studying these engravings is already incredibly difficult. Buying it, it's hard for even 1 in 10,000 people to succeed in studying it. It's already not bad to get some inspiration. And the incomplete ones? There's almost no chance of success. Empty joy. The auction hall was in a hubbub of discussion. The difference between a complete skin and an incomplete one was like heaven and earth. This made many people disappointed, but it made a certain youth very excited. Fragmented is good. The more fragmented, the better. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Babata said, Luo Feng, the price of an incomplete one will be much lower than the complete one. According to my estimates, you can get it with 2 to 3 mixed elements. However, if an undying being is interested in it, he can raise the price to 10 mixed elements or even higher. Luo Feng was speechless. Of the over 1 million participants, there were a few undying beings. If an undying being was interested, the price would definitely rise. To an undying being, 10 mixed elements wasn't a huge number. They probably won't fight for it. Luo Feng thought. That depends on luck. Most undying beings won't fight for these incomplete engravings. However, there may be some who are interested. Babata said. Luo Feng gritted his teeth. Fight it out. Let's see luck. This Masha clansman's skin was definitely an extremely suitable choice for his second clone. As one of the elites of the energy life forms, known as the strongest assassin, even if it was slightly weaker than the golden horned beast, it wouldn't be too far off. Just this skin alone was something that sector lords couldn't afford even if they sold their entire family's fortune. The Masha clansman's skin, even if the space engravings are hard to study, there's still a chance. What's more, this Masha clansman's skin is definitely extremely rare. There are very few Masha clansmen, so this skin is definitely one of the rarest and most valuable collectibles. In terms of collectibles, it's already high enough. The turtle-shelled old man said loudly. This made Luo Feng grit his teeth. Alright, let's begin the auction. The starting price is still 0. 1 mixed element. The first bid appeared on the screens of everyone's auction tokens. The auction for the Masha clansman's skin began. Chapter 391. The Masha clan, one of the pinnacle of energy life forms, had the title of the strongest assassin clan. In terms of numbers, the Masha clansmen weren't as rare as the golden horned beast. However, in terms of skin, the Masha clansman's skin was no less valuable than the golden horned beast's body. It was a pity. The damaged Masha clansman's skin itself had very little training value, it was mainly a collectible. Luo Feng was still very happy about this. I hope the Undyings don't get rash. Luo Feng prayed within. 1 mixed element was a huge number to a sector lord. Unless there were special circumstances, they wouldn't waste money. The only thing he was afraid of was the Undyings throwing their money. 1,100 billion universe dollars. 1,150 billion universe dollars. On the screen, the numbers continued to rise. 1,150 billion universe dollars. 1,151 billion universe dollars. 1,560 billion. 1,590 billion. The numbers continued to jump. Within moments it had broken past 2 trillion, 2 mixed elements. Is there a need for a damaged piece of skin? Luo Feng gritted his teeth. That's a piece of skin with space engravings, Babata said. But it's damaged. Luo Feng gritted his teeth, entering a new high bid. The price continued to jump at a dazzling speed, especially with the occasional large jumps, causing the price to swiftly rise past 3 trillion. After which the price obviously began to drop. After all, this was just a damaged piece of Masha clansman's skin. 3 mixed elements, any higher and there's no point. In the millions of thrones, one of the thrones had a guest. He was dressed in a peculiar silver armor, with white eyebrows, white pupils and a bald head. His entire face was filled with smiles, making one feel as though he was a warm sun. Even though he was warm, one had to look up to him. 6 mixed elements. If I get it, this Masha clansman skin, I'll leave it in my training room. A silver-haired black-robed old man saw the price break past 6 trillion. He couldn't help but shake his head and stop bidding. Enough, enough, stop going up. Luo Feng stared at the screen, his fingers gripping the tag so hard it was creaking. 9 trillion. Luo Feng gritted his teeth and entered the price again. Others could choose not to buy, but he had to grab the chance to buy. After entering the price, he stared at the screen and continued to look. The number displayed on the screen was still 9 billion universe dollars. After a few seconds, it didn't change at all. This made Luo Feng excited. 9 trillion. Is there a higher price? 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Congratulations, guest KND 99286. You have obtained the incomplete skin of a Masha clansman. The voice of the turtle-shelled elder echoed in the vast auction hall. Phew. Luo Feng looked at the information displayed on the token. He couldn't help but let out a long sigh. Haha, Luo Feng, you've succeeded. Babata was overjoyed. My luck is good. I was really afraid it would be more than I can handle. Luo Feng's face was full of smiles. That's enough. He had participated in this Ganwu auction and seen thousands of precious items. At the same time, he had bought quite a few important items. The water fruit was for the cloud contact vine to consume. The Nanshan armament would be his personal weapon for a long time in the future, and the Masha clansman skin would be used to nurture his second clone. The second clone, Masha clansman. Right now I'm just worried about one thing, Luo Feng thought. Worried about what? Babata asked. I'm worried about the strength level of the original owner of the Masha clansman skin. Luo Feng thought, the golden horned beast's nurturing is unable to nurture a clone stronger than itself. Right now the golden horned beast is universe level 6, so the highest it can nurture is universe level 6. The original owner of this skin. I hope he doesn't exceed universe level 6. We can only rely on luck. However, Luo Feng, don't worry, the Masha clansman is the strongest assassin clan. The stronger they are, the harder they are to kill, much less leaving the skin intact after killing them. Hence, the chances of it being a sector lord is close to 0, the chances of it being a domain lord is higher, and the chances of it being a universe level is even higher. Of course, it still depends on your luck. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. This Ganwu auction attracted over half of the strong warriors within the Ganwu universe country. Even some undyings from other universe countries came to participate. The emperors of certain empires, the leaders of certain organizations, even the god lords and undyings of certain god countries, they were all just participants of the auction, and Luo Feng was one of them too, and many of the higher-ranked figures. Their main reason for participating in this auction was for the most important finale item. Ladies and gentlemen, up till now, the final item has been auctioned off consecutively for 99 items. The turtle-shelled old man was all smiles, his voice resounding throughout the entire auction hall. Only the final item is left. Once this item is auctioned off, then this year's Ganwu auction will officially end. I believe everyone can't wait any longer. Actually, old Badua, have been waiting impatiently too. The turtle-shelled old man's voice suddenly rose. Now, I solemnly announce, this final item is a slot to enter the primal universe. The turtle-shelled old man's eyes were incomparably dazzling, his voice resounding. A Sector Lord slot. This is a slot to enter the primal universe. I believe all the Sector Lords and Undyings here are very clear on just how valuable this slot is. The entire auction hall was in an uproar, even though news of this had been spread long ago. Upon hearing that the final item was a slot, the entire place was still in an uproar. Primal Universe. The legendary Primal Universe, to be able to enter and take a look, even if I die at the end of my lifespan, it would be worth it. I heard that the Primal Universe is different from our actual universe. The slots to enter the Primal Universe have long been controlled by the 5 great Leviathans. Even the various universe countries find it hard to get a slot. Much less the Sector Lord slot. This is going to be crazy. The auction price will definitely be insane. The discussions were unceasing. Luo Feng could feel the passion, envy, anticipation and excitement contained within the discussions. Babata, the Primal Universe slot, what does that mean? Luo Feng asked. Primal Universe, what kind of place is that? Luo Feng, you should know the universe we are currently living in is extremely vast. The races are incomparably numerous. This universe is called the Original Universe. The Original Universe is an extremely complete universe. Wanting to comprehend the origin laws is extremely difficult. Babata said. However, the Primal Universe is different. Primal, since it's called the Primal Universe, it means that the Primal Universe is in the beginning stages of the universe's evolution. Legend has it that the Primal Universe hasn't given birth to any life yet. Legend has it that because the Primal Universe isn't complete, there are endless natural disasters. Legend has it that because it isn't complete, it's easier to comprehend the origin laws. In the universe, a few super-organizations like the Virtual Universe Company, Universe Galaxy Bank, Battleaxe Coliseum, and the other 5 great Leviathans will occasionally send a few important elites to the Primal Universe to study. Babata exclaimed, studying in the Primal Universe makes it easier to improve. Luo Feng was confused as he listened. Where did the Primal Universe come from? How do we get there? I don't know. Babata said. Within the auction hall, the turtle-shelled old man said loudly, Sector Lord Pinnacle entering the Primal Universe, the chances of reaching Undying is over 50%. This slot is incomparably precious. Now, let the auction begin. The starting bid is still 1,000 mixed elements. Over 1 million guests tokens floated with this number. This made many Sector Lords sigh within, rich and overbearing. The number suddenly jumped. 10,000 mixed elements. Silence. The entire auction hall was completely silent. All the Sector Lords were stunned. This was the first time in the entire auction that the price reached 10,000 mixed elements. This was the minimum requirement for a 4-star account. Amongst the Undying, having 10,000 mixed elements was already considered not bad. Throwing out 10,000 mixed elements just for a Sector Lord level chance to comprehend was indeed very exaggerated. My God, this is just a Sector Lord slot. If it's an Undying slot, how expensive would it be? Luo Feng stared wide-eyed. Undying slots, they don't even appear in the beginner-level auctions. They usually appear in the middle-level auctions as the rare finale, or in the high-level auctions. Even your teacher, Even if he sells his entire family's fortune, he still wouldn't be able to afford it. Babata exclaimed. Luo Feng was stunned. Your teacher went to participate in the auction back then, but ultimately he still couldn't afford it. Babata shook his head. Hence, your teacher hasn't been to the primal universe either. Teacher hasn't been? Even though he hasn't, but that's just a special place. The primal universe is the initial stage of the universe's evolution. In terms of size, it's far smaller than the original universe. Babata said, the original universe contains countless races, countless life forms. Humans are just one of the countless life forms in the original universe. The original universe is the true core. The other secret regions, God countries, worlds, primal universe, and other special places, many of them are even attached to the original universe. Babata said, or in other words, many of them are just a part of the original universe. A part? Luo Feng was confused. Even if I tell you now, you wouldn't understand. This, I actually don't know much either. Even though your teacher is considered a warrior amongst the undying, the vast universe, the strong are as common as the clouds. There are even a bunch stronger than your teacher. And the universe is too vast, even an undying, spending trillions of years would find it hard to explore the entire universe. Hence, towards this universe, your teacher only knows a little bit. Of course I don't know much either. Babata said, as the most ancient, strongest and most mysterious original universe, if you want to know more, you'll have to rely on yourself. Luo Feng laughed. He was currently only in the Black Dragon Mountain starfield. He hadn't even entered the Ganwu universe country, much less explored the entire universe. After all, the human race was just one of the life forms in the vast universe. 36,530 mixed elements. Are there any higher bids? 36550 mixed element units. 37,000 mixed element units. Now it's 37,000 mixed element units. The turtle-shelled old man's voice resounded throughout the huge auction hall. Is there a higher price? The countdown is starting. 10, 9, 37,500 mixed elements. A new high bid at the last moment. If you miss it, it'll be hard to come by again. 10, 9, 3, 2, 1. Congratulations, guest TUF 49903. You've obtained a Sector Lord slot to enter the Primal Universe. I wish you the birth of a new undying. The turtle-shelled old man's voice was loud. This auction, all the items have been auctioned off. Thank you everyone for your support. I, Old Badua, solemnly announce this auction has officially ended. Chapter 392. Within the Ganwu Universe country's territory, there was an incredibly beautiful pale red planet called Fula Planet. It was rather famous within the Universe country, because this was the home of a great undying, and this undying had a high position within the Virtual Universe Company. On the planet, a Universe soldier army belonging to the Virtual Universe Company was stationed here. Within this army, the normal soldiers were at least Universe-level warriors. Quick! Quick, the Ganwu auction is about to end. The 100 brothers who won from the duels earlier, hurry up and enter the network, prepare to receive the big figures. Haha, that auction is finally over. The brothers are all getting impatient. Within a huge army camp, there was a huge commotion. Second brother, I heard the Ganwu auction has gathered almost all the big figures of our universe country. I heard there are over 1 million sector lords, and many undying beings, and a few youths with huge backgrounds. You have to help us take a good look. Tell us when we get back. This time when we went to the alien battlefields, we didn't even see many undyings. Don't worry. Over 1 million sector lords, I'll tell you when we get back. The military service period is over. Before we return to our planet territory, I didn't expect us brothers to have the chance to see such a scene. I heard the lowest requirement to participate in the Ganwu auction is a 3-star account. We probably won't have the chance to participate in it in our lifetimes. This time we've arranged for 100 of our army to go. We're really lucky. What's the requirement for a 3-star account? I heard the deposit has to reach 10 trillion universe dollars. My God! 10 trillion universe dollars? This, my territory, only has a few hundred life planets. It's not even enough. This group of universe-level soldiers were in discussion, and the 100 victors all delightedly entered the Virtual Universe network. Virtual Universe, Ganwu continent, one of the floating islands. The main structure of the floating island was that huge auction hall, and at this time silhouettes appeared one after another on the island. Under the arrangement, they were swiftly distributed to the important areas of the island. There were a total of a few thousand people, and these people who came to serve were at least universe level. Carter, I heard the guests here are almost all sector lords. Over 1 million sector lords. I've never seen so many sector lords in my entire life. 2 men dressed in formal attire stood beside a bridge, discussing softly, suppressing their excitement. Universe-level warrior. Although they could dominate a certain galaxy, their status would be much lower when placed in the entire star field. And if it was placed within the vast universe country borders, then it was nothing at all. Just the Ganwu universe country alone had over 100 million galaxies. Within the universe country there were over 1 million sector lords. How many organizations were there? Under the guidance of large amounts of sector lords, the probability of producing a universe level was much higher. The entire universe country, over 100 million galaxies, universe levels at least over 1 billion. The army sent to the alien battlefields, the soldiers were all universe levels. The universe warriors were very clear that in the entire universe country, they could only be considered the lowest rung, and the guests who attended the highest gathering of the universe country, the Ganwu auction, were the true upper echelons of the universe country. The auction has officially ended. All guests will leave the auction hall one after another. All guides must remember your duties. Your performance will be linked to your contribution points. A cold voice quickly spread through the minds of all the waiters on the floating island. The 2 men who were still talking in low voices immediately stood up straight. What? At the exits of the tall and beautiful auction hall in the distance, a large number of people began to appear. Over 1.8 million guests, over 99% of them were sector lords. There were also a portion of undyings, as well as a few youths with extremely rich backgrounds. Sir, this is the teleportation point. The other places are for you to view our floating island. The waiters all had smiles on their faces, extremely respectful. 3 tall and sturdy men walked shoulder to shoulder, occasionally glancing at the waiters. However, the powerful willpower in their eyes made the waiters' hearts tremble. This is still in the virtual universe. If it was in reality, the powerful willpower of a sector lord, one look would be enough to make our souls crumble. Sector lord after sector lord, here, sector lords weren't worth much at all. Occasionally, some existences even more terrifying than sector lords would appear. Even though they had normal bodies in the virtual universe, their bodies contained undying willpower, that willpower that could communicate with the origin laws of the universe, made the waiters even more respectful. There are too many sector lords. The 2 that just walked past were too terrifying, they must be undyings. The waiters were all holding their breath. There's another youth ahead. He doesn't look like a sector lord, and even less like an undying. He's probably a youth with an extremely powerful background. The waiters didn't dare to be careless. When the black-haired youth walked over, they smiled respectfully and said, "Sir, this way leads to the teleportation point. The other directions allow you to view our floating island." The black-haired youth nodded, smiling at the waiters before heading towards the teleportation point. He actually smiled at me? This youth really isn't arrogant at all. The universe-level waiters were extremely excited. They were used to seeing cold sector lords. Occasionally meeting one with a smile on his face made them feel warm. Luo Feng followed the waiter's directions and quickly arrived at the teleportation point. The guests here are almost all sector lords. With the willpower in their eyes, even though this is in the virtual universe, it's still very terrifying. These waiters are at least universe level, otherwise they'd definitely lose their composure. Babata said. I don't think it's that scary. Luo Feng said. Firstly, your willpower is quite strong. Your golden-horned beast body is universe level 6. Secondly, when the sector lords see you, they'll treat you as equals and restrain themselves. After all, in the universe, there are two types of people you can't afford to offend. One is the absolute warriors, the second is those with an extremely powerful background. Babata said, and the weaker ones that come here usually have a strong background. Luo Feng nodded. Without a strong background, even if they got a treasure trove, they probably wouldn't even have a way to sell it. Sir, welcome to this auction. Thank you for your support. An incredibly beautiful reddish-brown, long-haired lady smiled. That smile and frown seemed to contain a strange allure. Under the gentle voice of the lady, Luo Feng stepped into the teleportation point. As he teleported, he turned to look at the floating island. On the floating island, there was a group of universe-level waiters who were extremely respectful. There were also sector lords and undyings. Coming here, I'm a little nervous. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled. Shwa. The silhouettes vanished. To Luo Feng, participating in the Ganwu Universe country's highest event, the Ganwu auction, felt like a dream. In the dream, the value of the treasures was comparable to a Milky Way galaxy. And now that he had awoken from the dream, Luo Feng returned to his hometown, the Ganwu Universe country's Black Dragon Mountain starfield, Milky Way galaxy, an unremarkable little planet, Earth. 15 days after the Ganwu auction ended, Luo Feng brought Di Fan in a universe ship heading towards Bailan Star. Bailan Star, it was still covered in white snow. Luo Feng walked ahead and Di Fan followed behind. Stepping on the snow, they walked towards the distant beautiful ship. That was a ship belonging to the Virtual Universe Company. Customer identity confirmed, you can trade. Under the electronic voice, the Virtual Universe Company's workers placed large chests on the ground. Luo Feng waved his hand and stored them in his space ring. Respected customer, thank you for your support of our Virtual Universe Company, thank you. Luo Feng shook hands with a silver short-haired middle-aged man. After which both parties separated, Luo Feng and Di Fan swiftly returned to the ship. I've acquired the items, let's return to Earth, Luo Feng ordered. The ship rushed into the sky, rushing out of Bailan Star's atmosphere. After which it entered universe travel, and entered the dark universe, heading towards Earth's coordinates. Within the ship's control room, large chests were placed there. I've spent enough wealth to buy 10 galaxies to get these treasures, Luo Feng exclaimed. Beside him, Di Fan smiled. The more you invest, the more you'll gain. Master has spent so much wealth this time, I believe in the future you'll be able to get hundreds or thousands of times more wealth. Haha. Luo Feng laughed and took a big step forward, immediately opening the chests. Pa. The first chest opened, revealing a sparkling box inside. Inside each box was an incomparably tender fruit with dewdrops on its surface, the rippling fruit. Although the rippling fruit couldn't compare to the fruit of life, it was still a very precious fruit. Even though the swelling water fruit couldn't compare to the life fruit, one swelling water fruit was still worth 1,000 life planet. Within the second chest, there were also large amounts of crystal clear chests stacked with the swelling water fruit. The third chest opened. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Within this chest was a dark golden peculiar long rod. It was one of the 9 godly weapons of the Spirit Reader Controller, the Nan Shen armament. Luo Feng squatted down and extended his hand to caress the dark golden peculiar long rod. He felt an extreme coldness from the metal. He couldn't help but feel anticipation within. This Nanshin armament would accompany him for thousands and tens of thousands of years. But Luo Feng turned to open the last chest. Within it was the dark golden peculiar engravings on the damaged black skin. Second body. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, his heart burning with passion. In this universe, hard work and comprehension were important. However, talent and resources were extremely important too. A person with incredible hard work and comprehension may be able to dominate a galaxy. However, those with talent, background, rich resources, similarly hard work and comprehension, their achievements would be even higher. My goal is to become a strong warrior, a warrior amongst the undying, even surpassing my teacher. This foundation, naturally the more stable and stable the better. Luo Feng's eyes burned with passion. This damaged skin was what he relied on to nurture his second body. The moment it formed, the golden horned beast's main training would be the gold universe origin energy. And his second body's main training would be the space origin energy. Luo Feng's earth body would be used to research the Nanshin armaments technique. The three combined, his achievements would be limitless. Let's not think about this. Right, today is the 12th lunar month, it's only a few days until the new year. I should think about what gifts to give Ping Ping and Hai. Luo Feng rubbed his nose. Chapter 393. Earth, Asia, Hong Ning Headquarter City. Third brother, why did you think of me? Hong was still dressed in black. Big brother, didn't you ask me to buy the life fruit last time? Luo Feng sat opposite Hong, picking up the teacup in front of him and taking a sip. His eyes gleamed. Good tea. Life fruit? Hong revealed a look of anticipation. Back then he had seen Luo Feng's cloud contact vine's strength explode after eating the life fruit. I didn't manage to buy the life fruit, however. I bought 100 swelling water fruit. Luo Feng explained. These swelling water fruits, the effects are more gentle, your cloud contact vine will definitely be able to absorb it. These 100 swelling water fruits, eat one every 10 days, spending 3 years. After eating all 100, I guarantee your cloud contact vine will reach universe level 3 or 4. Hong was surprised. His cloud contact vine was naturally weaker than Luo Feng's. Even Luo Feng's cloud contact vine, after eating the life fruit, it could only reach universe level 2. Big brother, the main thing is that when I went to the auction this time, I spent a lot of money to buy the spirit weapon, hence I couldn't buy the life fruit. Luo Feng said apologetically. Of course, in terms of nurturing plant life, these 100 swelling water fruits added together don't pale in comparison to the life fruit. Haha, alright, I understand. Hong laughed. We brothers don't need to talk so much. Luo Feng laughed too. After which he flipped his hand and took out a box, placing it on the table before him. The box opened, within were the 100 swelling water fruit. It doesn't look normal, no wonder it's a rare fruit of the universe. Hong's eyes gleamed. Of course, the selling price of these 100 swelling water fruits is comparable to a galaxy's worth. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows, asking curiously, right, why haven't I seen second brother recently? Thunder God? He's received the inheritance of Sector Lord Kabo, and has been training by Lord Wu for the past 2 years. Hong revealed a smile on his face. His strength has risen quite quickly. Luckily I have the UNMO planet fighter training techniques that you gave me. I've had some breakthroughs in the past 2 years, otherwise I would have been surpassed by second brother. Luo Feng realized. The martial artists of the UNMO planet trained in secret techniques were not bad. One had to know, the UNMO planet master had 9 undyings under him. Most of them were martial artists. An undying realm's inheritance, how could it be weak? The only difference was that Thor had the guidance of the intelligent life Lord Fog, and perhaps some treasures to assist him. As for Hong, he could only comprehend it alone. However, Hong's comprehension had always been very high. Back when Mingyu was judging, He said that Luo Feng and Thunder God were both level 3 elite geniuses, while Hong was a level 1 elite genius. Of course, now that 2 years had passed, especially after the golden horned beast reached the universe level, Luo Feng's comprehension of the gold origin laws had improved greatly. Oh right, third bro. Recently, the number of experts in the slaughterhouse battle zone has increased. I don't know what's going on. Hong frowned. Too much. Luo Feng was stunned. Recently, he'd participated in the auction, so he really wasn't clear about the situation of the slaughterhouse dimension. Yes, in the past, I could easily defeat many people. But now, a large group of geniuses has suddenly appeared. Moreover, these people rarely made an appearance in the slaughterhouse dimension. Hong said, "It's fine if 1 or 2 geniuses suddenly appeared, but for so many to appear at once, I feel that something is going to happen." Luo Feng was curious, not knowing the reason. Luo Feng didn't have the time to investigate the slaughterhouse dimension. He immediately began to nurture his second body. In the vast metal continent there was a golden mist atmosphere in the skies above. Around the continent too was a thick golden mist. The length and width of the continent reached 6,000 kilometers. In the middle of the sky, a black peculiar skin appeared out of nowhere. This skin was actually a small part of the Masha clan skin Luo Feng bought. Talent. Clone, nurture. With a thought, the entire world began to tremble. Rumble, the continent shook. Chi. The strange black skin directly vaporized, leaving behind only a drop of strange liquid. At the same time, the golden mist in the world of the trembling metal continent began to crazily gather towards the center. Almost instantly, it enveloped the drop of liquid that had been vaporized, and soon, it turned into an oval-shaped golden egg. Now that the nurturing has begun, who knows how long it'll take to complete? Luo Feng thought. The original owner of the black skin, according to Luo Feng's conversation with the auction house, was a Universe Level 2 Masha clan member. Because of this, Luo Feng was able to nurture it now. The natural talent clone, the golden horned beast, only had 3 chances in its entire life. This was the second time. The Masha clan's nurturing, compared to nurturing the Earth humans, is 10,000 to 100,000 times harder. And back then his internal world was the star level 1, now it was the universe level 6. The internal world is more than 10,000 times stronger too. Luo Feng calculated within, after a day of nurturing, I'll be able to estimate the time required. In theory, the stronger the original owner, the more noble the bloodline, the more shocking the time required to nurture. However, weird. Originally I guessed it would take tens to hundreds of years. I didn't expect it to only take 3 years and 9 months. After nurturing for a day, according to the profound information from the internal world, Luo Feng was already completely clear on the process of nurturing the Masha clan. The Masha clan wasn't a flesh and blood life form. The rules of a flesh and blood life form didn't work on it. As an energy life form, as long as the internal world nurtured the life crystal could automatically release energy and transform into a human form. And as an energy life form's specialty, not only could it transform into a human form, it could transform into other shapes and forms easily. Nurturing the life crystal is enough. This Masha clan sure is special. Luo Feng thought. The moment the natural talent clone began to nurture, Luo Feng didn't have to spend any effort on it. He just had to wait patiently. The winter months quickly ushered in the new year. The entire country of China was in a state of celebration, even after going through the Grand Nirvana period, even after going through the swallowing monsters attack. The citizens of China still wouldn't forget their most important holiday, the New Year. Luo Feng rarely stopped his training, spending a few days with his family. January 9th, early morning. Outside of Jiangnan headquarters city, in a ruined city in the wilderness, the sky was bright. In this city that had been abandoned for tens of years, on the balcony of a 28-story skyscraper, a human silhouette suddenly appeared. Dressed in dark red armor, with boots on his feet, he carried a peculiar dark golden long rod on his back. This dark golden long rod was over 2 m long. It was so wide that one had to use both hands to barely hold it. Its diameter was about 15 centimeters. The entire dark golden long rod gave off a heart-palpitating energy. Just the energy it occasionally released was enough to make the surrounding steel and concrete cities large amounts of monsters flee. None of the monsters dared to get close. Carrying this Nanshin armament feels like carrying a mountain. Luo Feng could feel the pressure the Nanshin armament gave him. Normal level 1, 2, and 3 spirit weapons could be used as soon as they were taken. However, normal high-level weapons were different. For example, a level 5 weapon, to unleash its power, one first had to properly nurture their spirit, planting their own spirit imprint on the Nanshin armament. Nurture it well. Once it's done, this Nanshin armament will really treat you as its master. Then begin training. Babata said. Understood. Luo Feng was worried about nurturing it at home, accidentally affecting his family. Hence he specially came to the wilderness. Nanshin armament, 9 levels of the universe. Luo Feng sat cross-legged, placing the dark golden long rod on his knees. According to my current level, I should be able to complete the first level. The Nanshin armament was split into 9 levels, each stronger than the previous. As the strongest godly armament, yet the weakest, if one wasn't a true genius, they might as well use a normal spirit weapon. The first level was called Illusion Blade Form, the second level was called Sky Piercing Form, the third level was called Heavenly Blade Form, the fourth level was called Great Craftsmanship, the fifth level was called Space Slicing, the sixth level was called Own World, the seventh level was called One Rod Exploding Heaven and Earth, the eighth level was called Golden Blade Space Slicing, the ninth level was called Undying Enemy. When Luo Feng found out about the names of these 9 levels, especially the 9th level was called Undying Enemy, he was incomparably excited. Because whether it was the golden horned beast's inherited memories or Babata's teachings, from Sector Lord to Undying, this was an extremely huge barrier. This was a transformation of the soul, a true super huge leap. Undying could easily sweep through Sector Lord Pinnacle warriors. Even the Sector Lord Pinnacle Golden Horned Beast, against an Undying, would have to lower its head. However, this 9th level actually dared to say Undying Enemy. It was simply heaven-defying. It's a pity that this 9th level is extremely difficult to reach. The entire human race, the many universe countries, only a few have managed to reach this level. The difficulty of training this level is even harder than reaching Undying. Luo Feng exclaimed. No matter what, he had only comprehended a little bit of the gold origin laws. As for the space origin laws, he hadn't even touched the basics. He still had to slowly work hard. While Luo Feng was concentrating on the Nanshin armament, on the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's capital star. Within the capital star, within the floating palace. Have you found any information on that Luo Feng? Dressed in royal attire, the 9th prince sat in his throne and said coldly. No, back then in the world within a world, this Luo Feng followed the 3-Axe Mountain army and left. I only found that he entered the allied army as a subordinate of the 3-Axe Mountain's Mingyu. I couldn't find anything else. I don't even know where he is now. Below, an attendant said respectfully. Scram. The 9th Prince Brolin ordered. Recently, His Majesty Brolin had been in a bad mood, extremely bad. In the world within a world, his grandfather Hargrey was the biggest loser. Not only did he not obtain the inheritance crystal ball, he even lost almost all of his wealth, and he even offended many sector lords from the sacred land Black Dragon Mountain. One had to know back then in the world within a world, Brolin commanded over 220,000 troops. Where did this army come from? The main reason was because a group of sector lords from the sacred land Black Dragon Mountain supported Hargrey, hence they handed their troops over to Brolin to command. These sector lords supported Hargrey. it wasn't without conditions. They all had promises before, even though the ninth prince had given his other treasures, like the D6 grade rail cannon, to his grandfather to deal with those sector lords. However, back then, there were over 10 sector lords who supported Hargray. The ninth prince had too few treasures, it wasn't even enough to split, and Hargray himself was close to bankruptcy. His mood wasn't good at all. These sector lords still came to demand the promised benefits. Under his rage, it became very unpleasant. Naturally, Hargray lost his power in the sacred land. Hargray himself didn't care about power as a sector lord, his own body was the most important. However, Hargray's loss of power in the sacred land Black Dragon Mountain affected the ninth prince's position. Humph! Brolin gritted his teeth. Big brother, third brother, and the others want to fight with me? Thinking about what happened during this period of time, Brolin's rage grew. Chapter 394. Buluolin was the strongest amongst the princes. 1 was because he had money, 2 was because he had a backer. Right now his backer Hargray had lost his power in the sacred land Black Dragon Mountain. Also, the treasures he obtained in the world within a world were all given to his grandfather to compensate the sector lords. Money! With money we can make the sector lords lower their heads. Without money we can't do anything. Buluolin's eyes gleamed coldly. Some of the Empire's information systems and citizen databases forbid us princes from interfering. If I had enough money, I could get someone to take the risk and help me go through the information systems to investigate Luo Feng's information. The Empire's laws were extremely strict. As the Emperor's lifespan was very long, hence they usually guarded against the princes. The entire Empire's citizen database, information systems etc., definitely forbid the princes from interfering. However, laws were made by humans too. Enforcing the laws was also done by humans. As long as one had enough money, they could get someone to take the risk. Back when I attacked the people of the Three Axe Mountain, I used my laser gun to shoot 12 targets. 11 of them died, only this Luo Feng didn't die. Buluolin thought, and he has exchanged for treasures in the castle. He even has a space ring that can store a universe ship. To be able to survive a C2 laser gun, he must have quite a few treasures on him. Buluolin wanted money, however he didn't care for small amounts. Naturally he thought of Luo Feng. Just from the surface, this Luo Feng had quite a few treasures on him. Any random treasure from the world within a world would be worth an astronomical price. I can only do that. Buluolin gritted his teeth. Buluolin changed into a normal set of clothes and left his palace. The Imperial Palace on the Imperial planet was a completely floating city. Within the city there were many palaces. This palace city was heavily guarded. "It's Your Majesty Buluolin." Some of the guards hurriedly stepped aside, and Buluolin walked deeper into a vast courtyard. At the edge of the courtyard, there was a seemingly ordinary stone stele. Buluolin walked towards the stone stele. Ripples appeared on the surface of the stone stele, and Buluolin's entire body entered it. On the mountain peak that was as tall as the clouds, there was a ripple, a human silhouette walked out. "Your Majesty Buluolin, what are you doing in the sacred land?" A low voice rang out, and a heart-palpitating aura spread out. A skinny man with a pair of wings on his back instantly appeared on the mountain peak, his green eyes staring at Buluolin. Buluolin was startled and hastily said, "I have something to discuss with my grandfather. Let him come here." A voice traveled millions of miles and reverberated on the mountain peak. The winged man glanced at Buluolin and coldly said, "Remember, go straight to Lord Hargray's place, do not trespass anywhere else." "Yes." Buluolin was very respectful. The sacred land Black Dragon Mountain was the biggest backer behind the Empire's imperial family. The founding emperor of the Empire, the current god master of the sacred land Black Dragon Mountain. He was the one who communicated with the space in the universe and fused it with his inner world, forming the great and vast god nation, sacred land Black Dragon Mountain. Divine Kingdom. Buluo Lin flew out of the mountain and looked at the vast world in front of him. This was a boundless ocean, and above the ocean was a sun. That was a true star that an undying brought from the outside world into his god country, splitting the heavens and earth, plucking down the stars. He was talking about immortality. The sacred land, compared to the capital planet outside, who knows how many times larger. Buluo Lin flew and looked up at the star in the sky. To be able to place a star in here, an undying is too powerful. If one day I can become an undying. Thinking about it, Buluo Lin shook his head and laughed bitterly. Undying, just thinking about it made him feel like it was too far away. The entire Black Dragon Mountain starfield had less than 100 sector lords, but these close to 100 sector lords would probably all die of old age. To break through to undying, it was too difficult. The lifespan of a sector lord was limited. Undying was an eternal existence. Who? With a thought, Buluo Lin released his universe ship from his storage ring. So, the universe ship flew through the vast god country, swiftly heading towards where his grandfather was. This ship's speed was extremely fast. After flying close to 1,000,000 km, he saw the most majestic mountain range in the entire god country, a huge black mountain range that floated above the ocean, over 100,000 kilometers tall. A floating mountain range that was over 100,000 kilometers tall. A mountain range that was even larger than Earth. The entire mountain range was completely black, like a huge black dragon with wings. This mountain range was the legendary Black Dragon Mountain. Black Dragon Mountain. Even though Buluo Lin had been here many times, he still felt shocked. Nearing the Black Dragon Mountain, the naked eye couldn't even see the peak of the mountain range, nor the end. "Come to me." A voice resounded in Buluo Lin's ear. Yes. Buluo Lin sat in the universe ship and flew to Black Dragon Mountain. He kept the ship and immediately flew towards a luxurious palace. In front of the palace stood a bald old man with an aquiline nose. The temperature around him seemed to have dropped by a few degrees. He was the top 3 strongest amongst the sector lords in the sacred land Black Dragon Mountain. Hargray. Grandfather. Buluo Lin flew over. Hm. Hargray looked at Buluo Lin, revealing a rare smile. "Abu, why have you come to me?" "Grandfather, I haven't had a good time these days," Buluo Lin said helplessly. "I understand." Hargray saw his grandson like this, and felt a little ashamed. The world within a world trip, his grandson had done well. However, because of the inheritance crystal ball, he ended up with such a result. And the treasures his grandson had all ended up in Hargray's hands. "Grandfather, on the capital star, we can't do anything without money," Buluo Lin said helplessly. "Right now I know, there's a star-level punk in the world within a world who has acquired many treasures. However, I'm unable to use the Empire's information system, the Empire's citizen database to investigate. Even though I know there are treasures, I can't acquire them." Hargray's eyes gleamed. "You're sure?" "I'm very sure." Buluo Lin nodded. 1. I'm sure he's in the castle exchanging for treasures. 2. He has a space ring with a universe ship. 3. He was hit by a C2 grade laser gun and didn't die. "What's his name? What information do you have?" Hargray asked. The world within a world trip, Hargray was close to bankruptcy. Normal sector lords had 10 mixed elements of wealth, however he, Hargray, couldn't even take out 1 mixed element. He's called Luo Feng in the world within a world. He entered the Allied army as a subordinate of the 3-Axe Mountain Mingyu. Buluo Lin said, "However, I have no way of investigating. I'm just a prince, I don't have much power." "I'll investigate," Hargray said directly. At the same time, Hargray's consciousness entered the virtual universe network and began to give orders. Princes had little power. However, even though Hargray had lost his power, he was after all still one of the top 3 sector lords in the sacred land Black Dragon Mountain. Not only could he use the Empire's citizen database, He could also use the Sacred Land Black Dragon Mountain's special information system to investigate. Within a few minutes, Hargrey had gotten his answer. "HM?" Hargrey creased his eyebrows. "You found it?" Buluolin was filled with anticipation. "Yes, I've found it." Hargrey creased his eyebrows. "Luofeng, he's indeed under Mingyu. After the World Within a World incident, he received 100 planets and territories from Mingyu. And Mingyu received a level 5 genetic energy weapon, the Air Cutter Blade, and sold it to one of the generals of the Three-Axe Mountain. I estimate this Air Cutter Blade is the treasure Luofeng acquired. Early on, Luofeng had a planet under him, called Earth. Heading to Earth is very troublesome. One has to go through a wormhole and fly for close to 3 years before reaching. The Sacred Lands Information System found out from the Pot-Lay family. The Pot-Lay family had once arranged for a small team, spending close to 3 years heading to Earth. However, there's actually a Universe Level 9 warrior on Earth, stopping the Pot-Lay family's team, and declaring it to be within the Three-Axe Mountains territory. Buluolin was stunned. He couldn't help but say, "Grandfather, it's very troublesome." Hargrey shook his head. 1. We don't know if Luofeng is on Earth. 2. Heading to Earth takes too long. 3. There's at least a Universe Level 9 on Earth. If we want to send, we'll at least send a Domain Lord. And I only have 3 Domain Lords under me. 4. The treasure Luofeng acquired, the Air Cutter Blade, has already been given away. 5. The most important thing is, that's the territory of the Three-Axe Mountain. The Three-Axe Mountain, the head of the 4 great organizations, the Sacred Land Black Dragon Mountain, was not willing to easily become enemies with the Three-Axe Mountain. This matter will temporarily end here. I'll arrange for the Sacred Lands Information System to focus on investigating Luofeng. Hargrey emphasized, "I've been very busy lately too. I have to focus on nurturing my group of disciples." Understood. Buluolin also knew that there was no other way. "Grandfather, are you talking about training disciples?" Buluolin was very astonished. A peak stage world overlord would at most occasionally guide his disciples. As for wholeheartedly nurturing disciples, he had never heard his grandfather mention this before. "This is a mission assigned by the Holy Land." Hargrey sighed. Right now in the vast universe, many universe countries, God countries and organizations are seriously training their disciples. Also, those solitary experts will also nurture their disciples very seriously. After all, time is running out. What? Buluolin was even more confused. 2 pinnacle battles. Hargrave reminded. Ah! Buluolin's eyes widened. "Grandfather, you mean?" Buluolin's breathing quickened. "Is it the battle of the absolute geniuses, or the battle of the strong?" Buluolin asked. "The battle of geniuses," Hargrave said. Buluolin's heart raced. In the vast universe, the strong preyed on the weak. And the human race was one of the pinnacle races in the universe. However, even though they were at the pinnacle now, it didn't mean they would always be at the pinnacle. Hence, humanity would also work hard to nurture their elite. There were 2 vast selection battles amongst humanity in the universe. One was the Universe Humanity Pinnacle Genius Selection Battle, the other was the Universe Humanity Pinnacle Warrior Selection Battle. The Pinnacle Genius Selection Battle was open to all the star-level humans in the universe countries. As long as they were star-level humans, they could participate. The Pinnacle Warrior Selection Battle was open to all the universe-level warriors in the universe countries. All universe-level humans could participate. The various universe countries, trillions of galaxies, countless star-level humans would battle under absolutely fair conditions. To be able to emerge at the end, those are all absolute geniuses from countless galaxies. Hargrave exclaimed. At the star level, one can already see a person's talent and comprehension, their level of genius, conducting selection battles amongst all the universe countries. I wonder if our Black Dragon Mountain Starfield's #1 genius can make it into the top 1 million of the universe. From tomorrow onwards, we'll resume our updating speed. Right now we're lagging behind in the monthly votes. I hope everyone votes for us. Tomato urgently needs everyone's support.